Good evening, folks. Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here, joined by Brian Coval, one of my co-hosts from the Eternal Glory podcast. How are you doing tonight, Brian?
Doing pretty good. How are you, Phil?
I'm doing great. Got outside for the first time today in like 3 weeks. Had to go drop off my car. Saw daylight. It was interesting.
Nice. I took a long walk in the park, a literal long walk in the park. That's not saying. And yeah, it's been cold here the last like 5 days, miserable. Like snow happened at one point, and when it wasn't snowing, it was just cold, miserable rain. So I've been outside pretty regularly, taking walks and like playing frisbee with my girlfriend this whole time, like the past month. But ugh, these past 5 days, I did a lot of sitting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going out for a walk, just about every day, but this was the first time I actually like drove somewhere. Anyway, so tell us a little bit about yourself. I know, any regular listeners to the podcast already know who you are, but many of my channel regulars won't.
So as you said, I am Brian Coval. I've been playing Magic since 1997-ish. Summer camp between fourth and fifth grade, whenever that happened, and I guess I am technically a judge, level two judge. I've been level two for 11 years, and I spent most of the first half of the most recent decade judging events. I judged the Pro Tour, Grand Prix, Star City things. Then I decided I didn't like judging anymore and started playing, and then I started winning stuff. So I have like 5 or 6 Star City Classic top eights with 2 wins. I won a Star City Invitational. I won Grand Prix Columbus with a deck very similar to the one we're streaming tonight. I have top eighted Eternal Weekend 4 times with 1 win in Vintage, 3 consecutive Vintage top eights with a win, and then a Legacy top eight before that. So it's been a good run the past 3 years or so.
And you're looking to continue it, of course.
Yeah, if Magic ever comes back, I played in Pro Tour Phoenix at the beginning of this year, and I'm qualified for the next Pro Tour final and the next regional Pro Tour after that. But we don't know when those are going to be, and my invite status is crazy. Everything's up in the air. Like they ended up cutting the Pro Tour season just where it was, just basically after Phoenix, and they've already like rehired the rival league for next year. So I don't know if my like partial invite I had accumulated or any mythic points or whatever I got for the PT count towards anything else. I don't know. That's in flux, but I am currently on the train as far as someone who is not in rivals or the MPL can be, I guess.
Yeah, anytime you ask anyone in administration or management right now, what's going to happen next month? The answer is just like, that is a great question, Phil. We'll let you know as soon as we have any new information.
Yeah, I've learned not to ask it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and send you to the Shadow Realm here, and let's take a look at the deck list. Not that one, although that's a very fun deck list. For those of you not in the sub-Discord, this is a version of the deck that we have been brewing with the subs, and it got its first 5-0 today. This is what I have dubbed Search Stompy. I'll do an article, video, or stream with this deck sometime in the next week, but that's not what we're here for tonight. We are here for some Uroza, and let me just go ahead and get all of this stuff on screen. So, Brian, let's start with the main deck. Just tell me a little bit about this. What are we looking to do with this deck?
Okay, so the deck does 2 things. It's a stompy deck, so it tries to squeeze with Chalice of the Void, and then it also just goes way over the top with Urza and Carne, and in between you have Baleful Strix and Emery and Uro and Oko to gain incremental advantage. So as we play these games tonight, you're going to see some games where it's like we have a like stompy start where it's just like turn one Chalice on one go, and then once they figure that out, once they break that block, they're facing down Oko. If they figure that out, here comes Carne. And so like you're able to transition your role a lot, and it's hard to attack this with any one direction because it's just doing so many things. And it's a deck with Chalice of the Void and Force of Will, so it's pretty good at protecting itself along the way.
The average power level of cards in this deck is astounding as well.
Yes. So, like I mentioned, the Grand Prix I won, it was with Oko Urza in Modern, and cards that are in this deck that were also in that deck include Karn Great Creator, Urza, Oko, Emery, Mox Opal, Mishra's Bauble, the lands base, like basically the entire mana base. We didn't have Ancient Tomb and downlaid the duels to shocks, but like this was basically the same deck, and they banned 3 cards out of this deck after that Grand Prix, and they all landed in Legacy.
Yeah. So if you think about this, most of the cards over here are like build around cards, like they have an archetype built around them, and this one just looks to like shove them all together, like foot on the locker, try to get everything in there, and it actually comes together as being a much more cohesive whole than you might expect when first looking at the deck list.
Yeah, like you'll see, I'm sure it'll come up because it always does over the course of 5 matches, where we'll have games where it's like we're setting up a turn 2 Karn, we get wastelanded, and now we just are never casting Oko. Like that, or we're in under the serious gun to like figure it out quickly to get Oko into play. Like that does happen. There is a little bit of like disjoint. It's not seamless, but in general, this deck's very good at managing all the different plans that it has in it.
Okay. Do you have anything in particular you want to say about the sideboard? We've got a pretty stock Karn package here, followed by a few specific like surgical tools. But anything neat or interesting you want to say about this?
Not really. The sideboard is as like you said, it's mostly a Karn package, heavy on the graveyard disruption, so you can bring that in and still have a Karn package. Abrupt Decay could be in the main deck over Brazen Borrower, honestly. It's just Merit Lage that breaks that tie, because Merit Lage is tough for this deck to deal with otherwise. And Plague Engineer, obvious all-star. And then that Mystical Dispute is just like, yeah, we had a 15 slot. Let's put what counter spell can we actually play with Chalice of the Void? So it's a Karn package plus some random other goop, but the other goop is pretty good where you want it.
All right. So this is a deck that you've been really hot on for 2 or 3 weeks now. However, Ikoria just released and dumped a whole bunch of new, incredibly powerful cards into the format. How do you think we're going to fare against the companion decks?
So, Bill, thank you for jumping on the grenade and fronting the play points to figure out if this deck is still viable. Phil and I discussed playing this deck on stream together before Ikoria was released, and there's no companions that just go in this deck. Like, I don't think any of them actually fit, and you can't change the deck to be like a Zerda deck or whatever, because then you lose Chalice of the Void and Baleful Strix, and like Luris is not even close, and you can't make a Stompy deck a Singleton deck for the Otter. Like the good ones just don't fit. So this is not going to be a companion deck ever, but we're going to find out if the Chalice of the Void, Force of Will, Stompy power engine can hang in the companion world when we don't have one ourselves.
All right. I think that's all that I have to say. Ooh, someone in chat says it's Ikoria. Huh. Ikoria, not Ikoria. Okay. Today I learned. If it's not immediately obvious, I'm not the sort of person who goes and watches the Vorthos material, the story-based stuff. So I am never aware of that sort of thing.
Yeah, I have a weird like cognitive disassociation with the Vorthos stuff because I've read every Magic novel that exists, but I've never watched like Gavin Verrey's daily talk about the new set videos, even though I'm sure I'd love them. It's just when the medium changes, so does my interest.
I'm a really dialed in legacy content creator as far as legacy goes, but as soon as something is out of the context and scope of legacy, I'm like so mute to it unless other people on my Twitter are talking about it.
Fair enough.
Yes, we would like to go first. Let's see if our opponent has a little commander friend. Seems like
over under on cats in this league. I'll set it at 4.5. How many cats are we going to play against?
Is that resolved cats or
How many people
cat
will have
decks?
it? We're already hit the under because they have Zerta.
Yeah, I would have guessed 3.
Fair enough.
All right.
This is a turn one Emery.
This seems fine.
This is a turn one. We don't
Well,
have Emery and Chalice. We should start with Chalice, but it's a turn one Emery or a turn one Chalice, and we get whichever one on turn 2.
yeah. If we don't play, well,
So
so
against the Zerta deck,
we might actually be putting. We could put Chalice on 0 very awkwardly after we play Petal Bobble, and then we have an Emery that doesn't do a lot.
I think that's probably real bad. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe because they are a Zerta deck, we should just Emery first, and then see what they're up to with the Chalice on turn 2. If we don't have to waste our pedal to do that.
Yeah, so
we lose the Force of Will if we do that, because Emery's our only blue card.
the only thing about pitching or playing Emery this turn is that if our opponent just goes like Solan, Monolith, Carne, or something like that, we're cold to it.
It's true. Yeah, maybe we need a Chalice. I hate chalicing on 0 in this deck so much. Like, it sucks because it's probably the right number, but it shuts off the entire rest of our hand.
Yeah.
But maybe we just have to do it. Just run out all our stuff, Chalice for 0. Wait, if we Chalice for 0, we can also Emery.
Yeah.
All right, I'm into that.
Yeah, our Emery sucks afterwards, but like it's in play, and hopefully we mill something.
Yeah, if Emery hits Baleful Strix, then we're in business.
All right, let's do it.
We could actually bobble them before we cast the Chalice and try to get a little piece of information.
Oh yeah, we still have 2 artifacts for Emery as long as the pedal's in play. Yeah, that's fine.
And the bobble could draw a blue card for us too, and just check every box.
It would be clutch. Grim Monolith, yeah.
All right.
All right. We can play the Emery first and then decide about Chalice.
Yeah.
But I think we're doing it. Oko, Uro.
Oh, Uro's in the bin. Now we have a path to head towards, at least.
Yeah.
I guess just ram that Chalice.
That does not feel good.
Nope. We can draw Carne and kill it someday.
Yeah, but I would feel so good if we draw a blue card right here. So good.
Yes. All right, we did it. And we have turn 2 Oko if they don't make us force something.
Yes.
All right, we're in business.
All right, what's the angle of attack? Like, we can get all sorts of weird this turn.
Yeah, so we can slam Oko, and we could just turn Chalice into an elk, cast Bobble, and try to have Force of Will up another turn. Like, how bad do we think this Chalice slowed them down? I guess if they're Bomberman, we just need this Chalice and play forever.
Yeah.
So maybe we just elk Emery and go to town, or we start getting foodie.
So we miss 2 points of damage if we don't elk Emery this turn, but then.
But if we just make a food this turn, then we could steal a Salvagers. If they just jam it next turn, we could steal Zerta.
I think it's food this turn.
I think so too. During the modern era of this deck, the Simic Urza time, Edgar Magayesh was firmly on the only protect with Oko plan, just like always make food or defensively elk. Like, he never got aggressive, figuring he would win eventually if he just fooded up. And I've been trying to be patient like Edgar in my life, though. I'm not sure. Like, sometimes you obviously beat down, but sometimes you just don't. here comes the bang.
Yeah, here's some big scary thing that we don't have Force of Will up for. It could be anything from Ugin to Ballista for 3.
All of these things are possible.
One of multiple Carnes. All right.
All right. Brick one time.
The jig is up that I don't have a counter spell.
Oh, we got him with the Lotus Petal. I guess they're clearing the top of their deck. They don't care.
All right. Cool. Good stuff. So the Manifold Key is still going to let them untap all of that stuff.
I think we just have to like
Elk the Mystic Forge. Yep.
Yeah, and hope we don't die.
I guess we're attacking with Emery this turn, so I should do that first. It seems like a fine time to just play a Chalice on 1.
Yeah, I'm into that. They've showed us Manifold Key already.
And this just becomes an Elk later as well, in case we need to, like, Elk or something like that.
Yeah, if they have a Plains, they have infinite mana this turn. And we just have to hope they can't do anything with it.
Depending on what they have, the difference between infinite mana and the amount of mana that they currently have isn't all that big.
Yeah, it's pretty close. All right, that's not double white.
Oof.
That Ugin. So that's probably just going to zap Oko. Yep.
Yep. That is pretty good. Please attack with Mystic Forge. Oh, they didn't fall for it.
Bummer. They're smart.
All right.
Gold brain.
Are we in concede mode, or can we still potentially beat our opponent?
So what's it going to take to win this game?
Opponent.
We have that Uro in the graveyard. We need to get Uro into play while our opponent bricks for a long time, basically.
All right. So we do have an angle towards victory.
It's kind of a nightmare that we drew the basic swamp. There's one swamp in the deck, and 4 Ancient Tombs that do not contribute to casting Uro at all. Yes, Van Wedge Delta can get green. There's Bayous and Trops in the deck. We're in the awesome spot of Simic Signet being one of the best draws in the deck.
Yeah. When a deck plays a Signet, the card is secretly so important. I don't know if you played any Blue-Black Tesserator from, like, God, probably like 4 years ago now.
I'm familiar with the deck.
But, like, Simic Signet, or not Simic Signet, Dimir Signet was, like, so important there to help you actually fix for Tez off of Ancient Tombs.
Mm-hmm. Actually, like, Baleful Strix is a pretty hype draw here.
Is it?
Yeah, because we get to draw, start trading. It's a artifact we can recur.
Yikes.
All right, that kills our yeah, we're dead.
TL Hunter, yes, this will end up going to YouTube afterwards. All of my streams do. All right, so what do we have against this Zerda deck?
We want Abrupt Decays. I've been really into Mystical Dispute against decks like this. Like, it's never going to be cost 1, but it's going to counter whatever it hits. We kind of have to, like, stomp it out, though, because if they make infinite mana, that's brutal. I've liked putting in, like, the Spyglass and Engineered Explosives just into the deck, because once Karn's in play, it's going to shut down whatever they're doing just with its static. So I like just having live draws to get us there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. So what is not ideal here?
Uh, those chalices were pretty bad.
Yeah, they are also an opposing Karn deck, so they can potentially get rid of them later.
Yeah, and I I though we won't really we saw a Lotus Petal get counted off the top of the deck and we don't know what was in their hand at the end of the game. But I know that we missed 2 card draws off of our own Chalice on 0 from Emery that would have been able to recur Bobble. So I think that hurt us way more than it hurt them.
Yeah, I guess they have enough redundant mana acceleration that like if we cut them off of like potentially, I don't know, 7-ish mana sources, it's not quite enough because
Yeah,
we don't exactly have a fast clock either.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Like I think this deck is going to try to pay off one big thing, and we want to be able to counterspell it or just answer it with Karn or Oko.
So
I guess because of Zerda, they can't have Mentor anymore. So I don't really like Plague Engineer. Uro's a bit of a brick.
that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, we can cut an Uro.
All right, I think I like that.
Yeah, looks good to me.
I don't know. In retrospect, maybe we should have just like mulliganed the first hand as well.
And it's hard to say. Like there's a world where they just have they are just Bomberman and they can't win with a Chalice on 0 in play, but they were able to sidestep it really nicely with the way their draw worked out.
Nope.
Yeah, this deck does this a lot too. You know you play a lot of stompy decks. You get hands that just look real bad.
Land, Lotus Petal, Bobble, Emery redraws off Bobble, work towards Karn.
Yeah, I think I would keep this hand. Like it's not exciting, obviously, but the line you suggested, like bottom a Karn for the mulligan, and then cast Emery, bobble them, and hope to find a blue card, and then some more action.
Yeah, like blue card is great or Soul Land is great.
Yes, all of those things are true.
And that's a lot of hits.
Right.
We're gonna get draw for turn, draw for bobble, like draw for turn before I feel like we're gonna be behind.
Yeah. I'll keep most hands that have a turn 1 Emery bobble.
I mean, Loris Bobble is like everywhere in every format right now, so
yeah, and this is
very indicative.
Yeah, and because they have Zerda as their companion, we know they can't Chalice us or Rest in Peace us. And we know they can't like sideways juke us with Mentor like we discussed during sideboarding.
Okay. We have Opal and Strix in the graveyard. That's not bad.
All right.
Should I go ahead and sacrifice this now? Like
yes. Yeah, because if we wait, then we don't get a look at a blue card for their turn.
All right, Auriok Salvagers. All right, so they are indeed the Bomberman variant. Yeah, I've been praising Nullrod and Chalice of the Void from the side of the Stompy decks recently, just because they've been so good against these sorts of decks.
Yeah, that was the best blue card to draw too, because it's a redundant legend. Just gonna ram the Salvagers. I guess they don't have mana for Salvagers right now.
So now they have their Metalcraft. They could go for their Fox, I guess.
Or are they just shipping? I like that.
They're just shipping. All right, great.
Give us more draws. Anything to see another draw step. All right, that is not quite a draw step.
So we can take a Bobble redraw here, or we can just get the Mox Opal, and then any land, not just a Soul Land, is Karn next turn.
So I like bobbling because we can just, I guess we're not locked for Metalcraft, but I like bobbling here more than Opal. That's just what I would do, though both lines are defensible. Like in a deck where everything is just like a bomb card or a mana source, and we just need a mana source.
That's a Carne the Great Creator. That's a wonderful force of will target.
Yep. So now we know they have 2 payoffs. Us breaking on lands is pretty brutal. Alright, they didn't have Veil of Summer. We lucked out.
That would have been rough.
Yikes. Lands, where are you?
Alright, I think we have to stay on the bobble train. It's just like very awkward that like we can't interact with all this with our card that was specifically designed to do one job.
Yeah, we're getting kind of wrecked here. We've drawn like 4 or 6 cards this game without finding a second land. So I think we're at 5 draws.
All right.
Unlucky, but it is what it is. That's Magic. Yeah, I think we should just keep bobbling and hope that they don't have the LED or a second card. I guess we'll know what they have. Walking Ballista.
All right.
That can kill Emery, and that sucks a lot. But hopefully we just draw Ancient Tomb and win the game anyway.
That would be swell. Bobble being a slow redraw is not exactly what we want here.
Yeah, slow trips are rough.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. I don't know that it's worth casting an Abrupt Decay on anything in response.
Well, we can't, so...
Oh, yep, no, we have Island. Perfect mana.
This is a great start for this deck. Perfect showcase of everything that can go wrong. Yeah, so what's happening here is that our opponent is committed to the Ancient Tomb mana ramp life, and we are just trying to incorporate it as one of our packages, and they're just better at this angle that we're trying to play.
Yeah, the worst part is that like our opponent can also just like play a Ballista if they so choose. Like eliminate our board. We have no mana rocks.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're stone dead.
Yeah, like opponent can do whatever they want to destroy me. We also might die to infinite combo here if our opponent has Grim Monolith in the board. They play Monolith, tap Monolith, get Fox.
Yeah, we're actually just literally dead. That's pretty sweet.
And then the Ballista in their hand kills us.
All right, so round 1. This deck does not hang against companions yet.
All right.
We've lost to a Fox.
Yep, Fox. Check that box. We can't lose to the Demon today. That's temp banned until Magic Online figures out what on earth went wrong with Gyruda.
And that's good, because I don't think we can possibly beat that deck.
Chalice on Zero, again, is like really good against them.
Yeah,
but it's like
Chalice on Zero.
The same problem.
Right.
This is a great example of like how Chalice is contextual. So like a lot of people say like Chalice on number is good in this matchup. Well, that's not always true. So a classic one was when D&T was having Chalice in the sideboard. People would say, yeah, Chalice on 1 is great against Delver. Why aren't you bringing in Chalice? And I go, because Vile, Mom, Swords to Plowshares, and Path to Exile are the best cards in the matchup.
Yeah, I remember I was on the Delver side of that matchup during that era, and it was just like, all right, my opponent has Chalice on 1. I guess I'm safe from all their removal. GG.
Mulligan, this hand does nothing.
It's a turn 2 Emery, but yeah, I like a mulligan because there's a second Emery, and we're basically already on 6. All right, this hand is bananas.
This is great, and our opponent doesn't have a companion.
All right, so we're both playing in last week's Legacy. I'll take it. So we can bottom. I think it's Strix.
I also think it's Strix.
It might be Bobble, honestly, because Strix and Bobble are both redraws, And
But
Strix can interact with.
Sure, Strix is a turn 4 play though, right? Because like
3, but yeah.
well, in
Oh,
all
if
likelihood.
you want to take off the turn for a go. Yeah, we can bottom Strix just for velocity considerations. And I'd want to bobble them first to figure out what we want to put this chalice on.
Agreed.
If that gives us any information.
Crypt Breaker. Oh, we are straight up playing against Zombardment, probably.
Chalice on 1, baby.
But why don't they have Luris? Like, the whole reason to like play this deck again is because of Luris.
Maybe
So,
they forgot to reveal it.
That is very possible. This Chalice on 1 is insane in this matchup.
Alright, so we've thought seized them for at least 1 card so far.
Oof. Like, it doesn't matter because, like, we did a highly, highly, highly impactful turn 1 play.
Yeah, we're playing the stompy side of the matchup now where it's just like, hope my turn 1's really good, and then let's string it together somehow later on.
I am a big believer in the it doesn't matter how you kill your opponent if they can't win the game plan.
I agree. Wow, they're on a 1-lander. The old 1-lander versus Chalice on 1 combo.
Alright, there's a combo.
Oh no, they just discarded Blood Gas. So maybe they're not actually a 1-lander, maybe they're just trying to get on board.
Alright, I feel like Mox Opal is becoming an elk.
That's a viable plan.
Any consideration to which duel to fetch here? Like, obviously I need green, but...
I would get Trop, I think. Because Bayou doesn't cast Urza.
There we go. That's the information I needed for having 0 games in with this deck.
Yeah, you basically want to assemble in order, like, blue, black, and then double blue, and then blue, blue, green, green. Those are basically the order you need to assemble your things in.
Somewhat surprised to see no end of turn fetch from our opponent there.
Yeah, either they're setting something big up, like a long-term plan, like they're playing weird because they have to around Chalice, or they're just like...
They could have this single land and they need to like discard another Blood Gas to get multiple creatures into play or something like that. Yeah, I'm not claiming it's a mistake.
Yeah, it's definitely weird.
Ooh.
All right, that's what they're up to. All right, so we can hardcast Force of Will in case we ever need to do that.
Yeah.
But I definitely like just making food here.
Yeah. I also don't think we start attacking.
No. We're going to have to block that Vengevine probably this turn. Yeah, Vengevine doesn't care if you ram your 1-drops into Chalice. It's still coming back.
Yeah, we may end up having like a really interesting game here despite like pseudo-locking our opponent out early.
All right, they're doing it.
Yep.
Whatever it is, it's happening.
I don't think I'm going to Force a Will that one.
I wouldn't. Or this Crypt Breaker. Oh, Putridem. What are they saving that Crypt Breaker for? It's weird.
They theoretically might have like Decays or something in their deck.
I guess. It's probably a better one to still have in your hand. How about Oko just ruining this poor person's life?
Yep.
Like, yep, we'll trade with that Vengevine, thank you. They should have attacked with both creatures.
Agreed.
Because we're gonna trade off with the Vengevine, like almost 100%, and they would have gotten 2 damage through for free.
Oh wait, no, sorry, they didn't fetch end of turn, so the Bloodghast
Oh
is
yeah, yeah,
summoning
yeah,
sick.
okay, yeah. All right, they were smart not to attack with it because that's cheating.
Okay, so the next question is: are we just casting this Uro, drawing a card, potentially getting another line drop, or are we holding up Force of Will?
Force of Will doesn't do anything because Vengevine's going to come back no matter what.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, their plan is likely to just spew this Vengevine every turn. So let's Uro and see.
Uro off of these 3 lands? Question mark.
Yes. Yeah, we don't need to take damage. Like we have another fetch land in hand if we draw the Emery. Nice. I think bobbling ourselves with this fetch land is a better play now.
Okay, and I should do that now, correct?
Yeah, try to pair a blue card with this Force. They don't have discard spells that can resolve in this game.
Ooh, it's Carne.
We like that.
Yep, that can definitely stay.
Yeah, and we just elf this food, and we're safe.
Feels pretty good.
The chat made a good point. Hogak is a reason that they don't have Luris, probably.
Ooh, yeah, that makes sense.
That's a powerful card, I've heard.
I don't know if Hogak is better than having access to Luris, though. Luris is pretty dumb. I mean, not that Hogak isn't, but
yeah, it's just a battle of busted cards from the last year. Ronan's deep in the tank.
yeah. So this may be the point where they're wondering if they can win and whether or not it's worth just conceding here, try to conceal a little bit more information, or like whether they want to continue to hemorrhage resources and try to stay in this game. All right. Cool. Bonus Oko to pair with Force of Will is great.
Yeah, so now we have Carne, and Carne can get Tormod's Crypt and just hang out for a turn, and we can protect the whole thing with Force of Will.
Yep, I like it.
We can trade our Chalice for their Bloodghast too if we want to. Just saying. It's available to us.
That is a cheeky line.
It's likely they'll just concede to Carne. At least I hope they do.
Yeah, active Tormod's Crypt is pretty rough. Like, especially when they're facing down Oko plus a looming Uro.
Yeah, unless they can just like put damage on Carne this turn, but that's tough to do when they don't have a graveyard. For what it's worth, I think we actually should. Oh, they conceded, but I think we should trade the Chalice for the Bloodghast just to minimize damage that Carne could take this turn.
I agree with that. All right. So we have to leave 1 crypt in the sideboard for Carne, but the other 2 are definitely coming in.
So that's a thing that I've been toggling back and forth with, and I actually like just having all 3 in the main to pair with Emery.
Okay.
And then Carne can just get Ensnaring Bridge or like something else to win the game when he comes down. Like as a 4-drop, like this is kind of a stompy deck, but it's also kind of a fair blue Oko deck. So we're not that good at just like turn 2ing Carne. Those are your nut draws. And assuming a normal game, just Emery looping Tormod's Crypt in the main will get us to Carne eventually. So I tend to bring in all three.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense to me. And then what do you do with some of your bullets? Like, we have this walking ballista, which we might want to bring in because it's something that can break bridges if that's something that our opponent is playing.
Uro breaks bridges like a champ.
All right, great.
So I guess the question is Ballista better than Uro? And the answer is probably, honestly. So Ballista might be an upgrade over Uro because it does other stuff. Like Uro is just an expensive growth spiral that clears bridges on the front. And on the back, that's really hard to assemble. Like that's for the grindy matchups more than the combo matchups.
I don't see Brazen Borrower being particularly great. It's an out to Hogak if our opponent is playing
It
that.
bounces like exactly Hogak. So Brazen Borrower can get cut
Do we want both Uros out?
probably.
So that would be 4 for 4 if that's all we want to do. Like, there are other things here that we can consider that, like, obviously will be fine, but
Do we think that they're gonna have? We only saw basic swamps out of them, right?
yeah.
So we don't know what their splash is. I assume there's green involved. They might have collector oof or something, but it's more likely they have force of vigor as their hate than collector oof. So engineered explosives we might want in the main deck.
What would we cut for it? A Strix?
Either Strix or Signet.
Let's cut Signet and keep our blue count slightly higher.
Yeah.
Our opponent has disconnected, so
that means we win.
That may mean that we win.
They're never coming back. We did it. We shook them real good.
All right, I'm gonna skim over chat. It's really hard to follow chat on days where I do a guest stream because I'm keeping an eye on you and talking with you as well as the game. Let's see, chat have anything interesting to say? Seems like this deck really works better with an artifact land, and its mana base is greedier than Eldrazi. Could you cut black?
Black is all the great sideboard cards, but and Strix. So in that one matchup that we played where our opponent just raffle stomped us with their linear combo deck that ignores Chalice, Baleful Strix was pretty embarrassing. But if even once you see that Emery go off with Strix, it's you're never want to cut black. Like against Eldrazi or any
or Delver.
Deck. Yeah, I had a game against Eldrazi where I had turned 2 Strix, they had turned 2 Thought, or I had turned 1 Emery, turned 2 Strix, and they had turned 2 Thought Not Seer, and then they just never attacked the entire game. My Strix drew another Strix, and then they traded off a Eldrazi Mimic at some point for one of the Strixes, which came back from the graveyard immediately. I had all 4 Strixes in play and had drawn 6 cards off of them at one point when they finally conceded.
Delicious.
Yeah, I'm bringing Strixie back. And unfortunately, you can't just switch it to Snake because Snake is not an artifact.
All right, sort of off topic. Are there any cards or strategies you're looking forward to testing in Legacy in the coming weeks?
I'm pretty excited. This is basic AF, but I'm excited about Grixis Luris Delver. I'm a huge Delver junkie and big fan of that. The Zerta combo decks look pretty sweet. I'm not above a Bomberman deck. I've played Bomberman. I like it. My issue was the consistency problems, and with a companion, they just give you consistency built right in. So I'll toy around with those.
Did you see JPA's list?
No, what was he up to?
I'll see if I can pull it off his Twitter if you just want to talk about something for a second.
Yeah, I also watched Honorog streaming the 80 card Serpent Dragon, whatever that thing is, Yorion. Yeah. Honorog was streaming 4-color Yorion in Legacy, and it just seems like bananas. You just play a normal Legacy game, and then at some point cast a 4/5 flying and draw 5.
All right, here's this super sexy list, which even has me excited.
Oh, Jeskai Delver.
Yeah, main deck meddling mages for opposing companions. It's hot.
Wow, that's Genius.
I don't know how I feel about the Lavinia, but like I really like basically every other card in the 60.
Yeah, Lavinia is a bit of a goofball, but it might be great. My issue with this deck on the surface, at least compared to the Grixis build, is that you need all 6 of these forces to protect yourself. And like the Thoughtseize Arcanist engine is so exciting. It's just so good.
Yeah, I've been super impressed with Sprite Dragon as well. That card is great. I think I have a good screenshot of that. Let's see if I can pull it up. Ikoria deck. No, that's deck lists. It's in Search Stompy. Oh, yeah. Baneslayer versus Dragon. Here we go. So I thought I was stone cold dead to this giant sprite dragon, and then I resolved a Baneslayer Angel, which relevantly has protection from dragons, and it saved my ass from what otherwise was just like an unstoppable monster.
That's so hot. So my friend used to play stacks back in the ancient times. I think like Zendikar or World Wake. Like World Wake, Zendikar block was like the new block at the time. And he used to play white stacks. And he was playing against my friend who was like a known lands player. And this is before Thespian Stage. Lands was as miserable as possible back in the day.
Just punishing fire you forever.
I don't even know if they adopted Punishing Fire yet. I think they were still on like assemble the 13 mana or whatever you need to Academy Ruins Mindslaver you every turn.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and then like once they were taking every turn, they would eventually hit land drops until they also had Creeping Tarpit. So they had a 17 mana combo of take all the turns and attack for 3 a bunch of times. Like I think that's how they won back then. It was bad, but decks that are pretty resilient to stacks effects include lands. And my friend, he had turn 1 Trinisphere, turn 2 Baneslayer Angel, and then just fucking died. It's like living the dream of every stacks player, and then just the opponent was just like a land, Mazavith, you're dead.
All right, Brian, I'm going to put you back on screen here until our opponent times out, which should be soon.
Yeah, any minute now. I would also run away in shame.
I don't know, like a good portion of the time when someone disconnects before the last game of a Magic set, they have actually just disconnected.
Yeah, it's true.
It's when it's like in game 2 or 3 and they're on a losing board and they disconnect that it's like, shame on you. So
I gotta say, I've interacted with very few people like that in recent times. Like I remember when I was playing in college all the time, like the Salt Lords were on the prowl, but other than like an occasional like snarky like really in the chat, like I haven't had anyone actually just DC on me in a long time.
Yeah, I get way more, oh hey Phil, love your content, good luck, than I do just like people disconnecting and sniping and all of that stuff.
Yeah, I do wonder if like being a content creator affects people's salt level towards you. Like if they recognize your name and they're like, yeah, I don't want to get Twitter shamed in front of 3,000 people or whatever. So maybe I'm slightly insulated, seeing through my privilege.
Yeah, it's weird. I got stream sniped way more when I was starting as a content creator than I do now. Like every once in a while I see something, I'm like, that is a really weird play unless you know exactly what's in my hand. But it's not like when I first started. Like in the first 2 months of streaming, it was, I don't know, once every 4 or 5 streams, it would just be like, there's no way, no possible way that you play around this Fringe 1-of card that I have randomly added into my deck list for this exact stream.
Yeah, that is a bit suspicious. When I was streaming, I had a league where my opponent like played around exactly Dovin's Veto, like not Force of Will or Counterspell, but Dovin's Veto, which was a 1-of in my deck that happened to be in my hand. and it was like either they're a genius and they have Force of Will covered in a way I can't imagine, but like they have cards in their hand, so maybe they do just have like some way to do that. But like they did carefully not cast any important spells until they were able to Cabal Therapy Dovin's Veto from my hand. Yeah, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like 50-50 on that one. I don't want to take away a moment from a true genius, but I don't know. How many people are that smart? I'm not. So you can't be either.
So chat's asking, what's the card between you and the island?
That is the... Oh.
All right.
Webcam backwards. That is the Vintage Championship Time Walk Trophy painting.
Hey, Eddie, welcome. Yeah,
Hi, Eddie.
I played General Kudrow Humans over the weekend. Kudrow is great. Really like that card.
Rogue Judge, I won in 2018. 2018 America.
I think the big question for decks like Humans right now is, like, can those sorts of decks compete without companions? I think that's more generally one of the biggest legacy questions right now. We're in a very interesting arms race currently.
Yeah, so the thing about decks like Humans and Stompy decks, and even our deck we're playing tonight, is that they don't have Brainstorm, and Brainstorm is the king of consistency. But now there's a new king of consistency, and it's the companion mechanic. So like I think that the decks that have a companion and Brainstorm are just gonna reduce variance as much as possible. And if you're a good player, that's probably, if you're a good player who only cares about winning, just a Brainstorm Luris deck is probably where you want to be.
We have a very interesting hand.
Yeah, this one.
Oh, boy.
I'm keeping it.
I'm keeping it too. I just wanted your blessing before I hit keep.
So if Simic Signet is ever going to be good, this is the time. So the first time I saw this list was when we were recording Eternal Glory podcast one week. We were just going through like a top 8 list, and I was like, oh, Mishra's Factory, nice. But I was like, I don't know what this is, but I'm in love with it. And then
do I take a second redraw for Force of Will currently, or do I just wait till their turn to see one more card on top of their library?
Yeah, I would wait till their turn to see another card. But like I saw this list and I was like, Simic Signet, isn't there a talisman, a blue-green talisman now? That's got to be better because you can like Ancient Tomb into Talisman into Emery right away. But it turns out that Signet filtering one into color is way more important than ramping out Emery on that one turn. Like we have Ancient Tomb, Simic Signet, and this is exactly what it's for.
Oh boy.
Oh, we're playing against Pox. I'm so excited.
Okay.
In play.
Here we go.
Oh my god, Uro is gonna bury them.
Alright, discard.
I think we discard Ancient Tomb.
Oh, Ancient Tomb. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. We still have Carne anyway.
Yeah, we're still in Signet Town. We don't have a Pithing Needle, we have a Sorcerer's Spyglass, so the difference between 4 and 5 is the same as 4 and 6. But holy shit, if they don't have Graveyard Disruption, this Uro is gonna wreck their house.
Okay, and they have a bunch of lands after playing their big payoff. So this is good for us.
Yeah, now we just need to pay off somehow.
Ooh.
Like Urza. Oh, yep, there's Urza. Yeah, Urza is insane because it produces a bonus threat.
Yeah, so are we playing Urza over Uro this turn?
I think we are. We don't want Urza to get Thoughtseized. And we would kind of love if Uro gets Thoughtseized.
Yeah, and we can just like plan to discard the Trop. We can even keep the Opal in hand to discard that, actually. It's a smaller construct, but...
The construct's gonna die immediately to Liliana anyway. Like, I think they have to just minus Lily, so it doesn't really matter what we leave in our hand.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah. Clicking through signets on Moto is a thing. There it is.
Nice. So now we're threatening them from multiple different angles while their hand is presumably at least kind of weak.
We know there's at least 2 lands out of their 5 cards, and either they eat this construct with Lily, or they lose Lily.
So interesting thing from chat. It's potentially correct that I should have played Tropical Island because they have Urborg, but if they don't play Urborg, then playing this is correct to like have mana for Oko. Oof.
Wah, 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 wah.
That does sting a bit.
All right, whatever. So I think we discard. We're going to have a lot of cards in our graveyard.
So we're going to have 1, 2, 3,
4, 5, 6.
4, 5, 6. We could discard the Uro, flash it, or escape it immediately.
Well, we can't escape it immediately. We're 1 mana short of doing that. But I think dumping the Uro is the better chance. There's the better choice because that's going to come back.
Okay.
And sack Ancient Tomb would be my choice.
Sounds good.
Yeah, the Opal's not live, but if we draw a 0, it will be. And it's something we can get out of our hand. Yeah, so let's just play out all our things we can.
All right, so we lose the Force of Will to the Liliana Plus. Our opponent will have a Mishra's Factory in play.
Yeah, and the Liliana minus is going to brick Uro immediately. But Uro will recoup one of the cards and save us a turn of Liliana damage.
Yeah, we also have like 7 cards in the graveyard, so like recasting this is like absolutely reasonable.
Yeah, as long as we don't draw uncastable 4s, we're fine here. All right, so Uro's coming back. Or I guess we probably want to Chalice on 1 just to turn off like Thoughtseize, Dark Ritual kind of stuff. Or we can't do it for 2, unfortunately. That would be the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can be patient on this Uro.
I agree. Like, letting the Lily tick up more is awkward, but this also will not shut off our zeros, which I think is important, because if we get an Emery, just bobble every turn should be very good.
Yeah.
I'm actually most scared of, like, an Ashiok.
Yeah, that would be a nightmare. Please don't do that. All right, they're Hellbent. So it's Liliana and Mishra's Factory versus Uro at the top of our deck. This is going to be a sweet match.
Yep. All right. All right.
Oh, that was right.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, we just want to save the Opal.
Green.
For the Emery that we're 100% going to draw.
All right. Uro can get rid of land, force, Urza, leave the baubles.
All right, let's draw Emery. Oh, that's pretty sick.
That's totally fine.
Yeah, because they're going to have to minus on Uro. In the next turn when they plus, we can bounce Liliana and make them discard it.
That'll be so sick.
Yep, unless they drew like Smallpox right now. I guess really any edict that lets them tick up Liliana fades this, but they're actual Hellbent. Crawling in my skin.
Yikes.
Whatever.
All right. Goodbye. I will choose Petty Theft. Oh, no. Unchoose this. Choose this? Oh, I have to hit OK. All right. I have figured it out. Land matter?
Bayou is the worst one.
Because it doesn't cast Uroza.
Yes.
All right. Now this is actually starting to get scary.
Yeah, and our graveyard is starting to juice back up a little, but we are gonna need.
Do I play this Ancient Tomb, or do I save this to discard it?
I think you play it. Like
because of Carne, like
yes.
Carne, Sorcerer, Spyglass, shut off.
Yeah, like Carne off the top is makes this super live. All right, Liliana is on 6.
Are we dead? No, we are not dead. Great.
All right. Oko.
Thank you.
All right.
So Mox Opal is becoming our creature? Question mark.
I think our mana is more important than. Like, they're Hellbent, and so are we. So we don't care about Thoughtseize. We don't care about Dark Ritual. Like, other than unless they're playing like Innocent Blood. Like, what 1-drop do we care about at this point? Like, I think it's more important to have all mana available.
I see.
Rip a hammer.
Yeah, that makes sense because it's still leaving Carne available.
Yeah. Carne and Uro. Like, if we turn that Opal, we're a land away from Uro again. So I like and elking the Chalice and chunking Liliana.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
That does turn off Opal. Shit. But we can make foods to replace it. That's not a big deal. All right. No, I still like that.
Well, this game has been really interesting one way or another.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun.
But like Oko is probably going to bury our opponent. Like, it does not need to buy us much time until we get to Uro again.
Yeah, they can't cast Smallpox if they draw it. So that's good news. If Liliana minus is here, then it's at 1 and Oko can pick it off. Or we can just ignore it for a while. There's anything that buys us another turn and protects our mana for another turn. Alright, Uro is 1 away.
Yeah, that's fine. You can have your Mishra's Factory versus my Oko, who can +2 every turn.
Yep, deal. Oh no, Wasteland is a nightmare. Please go after Ancient Tomb. Please go after Ancient Tomb. Shit. Oh, it doesn't matter.
It's going to be okay.
That actually just turned on Uro. So we plus to make a food, and then we can escape Uro. And Liliana's at 1, so she can't minus. Oh, this is the best Simic Signet there's ever been.
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go.
Uro can even spew this Ancient Tomb into play. It can spew another one into play if we draw a land. Wow, we even get to replace our Chalice on 1.
LOL. Wow, that was impressive. So
now we're stopping.
This was the degenerate stuff prior to the new degenerate stuff, and like now it feels like it. We're doing our thing.
Yeah, I think we can. Our opponent can about pack it in here, but I'm not an expert on what Pox is capable of these days. Have they discarded a... what did they discard there?
Hymn to Turok.
Alright, we don't care about that.
Nope.
Yeah, so we just elk this food and then chonk with everything?
Yep.
But do we chonk with everything? I think we just chonk with Uro, because if they block the elk with Factory and pump, then they can minus and clear Uro.
Yeah, we're attacking with everything, right? Because we want the Liliana dead no matter what here.
Oh yeah, we can just
like they can trade food for Factory if they want, but then they're at 1 land and have a dead Lily.
Yes, I briefly forgot that you can attack Planeswalkers. That's obviously the right play. Bango. This Uro escaped twice and attacked once, and it's like our opponent hasn't done anything this game.
Oh, good question from the chat. How are Phil and Brian making out tonight? Well, we're not making out tonight due to social distancing, but thanks for checking in about our relationship.
Yeah, it's doing all right so far.
As far as the magic goes, this is a lot of fun. All right, I feel like Mox Opal is a dude now. Just end it.
Yeah.
Or it can be the same thing as before, where we consider just Chalice.
Now we have infinite mana, basically, so I like opaling. Make them dead. We can even just like evoke this other Uro. Draw a card. You missed that signet.
All right, you first. Yeah. I will keep this one.
Smart.
Yeah, place these on the stack.
Oh, baby.
Lol. Lol. Now we get an extra Baleful Strix every turn.
Yeah, I mean, there's a world where we maybe shouldn't have cast Emery because now they know we have Emery and Carne in our deck. But at the same time, I'm not here to not cast my shit.
Yeah.
There might be like a Pro Tour level play where we just hold that.
Oh, I guess I needed to create one more creature because they have... Oh, no, I don't. They're at 6.
Yeah, dead says.
All right, so what do we have versus Pox?
I like Abrupt Decay, Sorcerer's Spyglass. That might be it.
Yeah. We have a handful of things that are kind of awkward in the matchup. Like, the Chalice is very good early, and then pretty mediocre after that.
Yeah, like, between Force of Will and Chalice, we're pretty heavy on stuff that, exactly like you said, is good at one point and then sucks at another point.
A lot of times when I'm playing these matchups, I just like try to board to have a higher density of threats than I did in game 1. But I don't know how easy that's going to be to do.
So I try to hedge against graveyard hate if I think they're going to have it. Like, if they're going to be a leyline deck, then Emery and Oko are both completely or close to non-functional. Like, Emery, you'd rather just not have a card in your hand. And Uro is like Growth Spiral. So like the Brazen Borrowers can answer a ley line and then set up our endgame for later. So that there's like a little bit of push and pull here. Do we think they're a Null Rod deck? Does this deck still kill with Curse Scroll? Like, what do they do anymore? I don't even really know.
I don't know. A lot of times it's just like Ashiok Mill is a realistic win condition.
Oh, yeah, Ashiok. All right, Ashiok is troublesome. I might want to go down to 1. What do we bring in? 3 cards?
Yeah,
so
we're looking at bringing in 3, and like if we're really scared of like the anti-graveyard hate stuff, we can also just bring in Plague Engineer as a 2/2. Like, it's not great, but I've done worse.
Yeah, I mean, we have Carne as a 6/6, if that's what we're worried about. But I don't mind cutting like an Emery. Like this decision is really tough because these cards are the best or the worst, depending on if they have a ley line.
I kind of like cutting at least a Chalice on the draw.
Yeah, I like that too.
I don't know what our last cut is. Like, I could see it being another Emery pretty easily. I'd see Emery force Chalice, or even Uro.
We could cut an Opal just because it's legendary and every card matters in this matchup.
Sure.
Like in like the modern build where you had 4 Opals, I frequently cut 2 of them or 3. So like it's a little different here, but I like it. Slow and petty hand we've got here.
I don't like mulliganing against Pox.
No, especially not with double Uro.
I think we have to keep this.
Yeah, like 4 of the cards in our hand are cantrips.
Our opponent has mulligan as well, so that's a boon.
Yeah. Maybe they're looking for Leyline, which would be kind of good against their hand, but if they ruin their own hand doing it, I'll always take that deal.
Yeah, no leyline. Let's just see if we get Dark Ritual into Planeswalker turn 1. All right, Curse Scroll.
They do still have Curse Scroll. Nothing has changed in 25 years, 22 years. So against this kind of deck, we just set our baubles in play. I guess we have Force of Will, so maybe it's a little different. Tough call.
So if they had Dark Ritual Planeswalker, they do it on turn 1, and they can't like soul land into Planeswalker. That's not something that occurs.
Right.
So we're most afraid of something like Hymn to Turok.
Right. And I guess this hand, like, there's like a 40% chance that they just hit an Uro. So, which is actually great. So I like just hanging off on the baubles for now. Like, bauble them in their upkeep so we know what they draw, and then bauble ourselves with the fetch land in their end step.
Yep.
So we can fix our draw a little bit.
Friendly Mishra's Factory is back again for another game of Magic. Oh yeah, let's go.
2 Uros. Just not the land. Shit.
Alright, so now we get to scry for a land, though.
Yeah, but the losing an Uro there was great.
Yeah.
Because that card's doing very little in our hand anyway. The Hymn fuels the Uro on the return.
It is an abrupt decay.
We don't want
I do not want that.
So they have shown us Wasteland, right? Yeah, they did. I probably want basic island here. Unless you just want to, like, fuck it, play into the Wasteland. I guess they can't Wasteland and Liliana next turn. They have to pick one or the other.
Yeah.
But I do like basic island here.
I think that's fine.
Alright, now we get 3 looks. Oh no.
That's punishing.
Shit. We tried to play smart and got punished instead. Oh, whatever.
We played too smart. Alright. That is
black sources in the deck than green sources. Just saying.
That is a touch unfortunate.
Oh, they have Urborg.
Aha! We're so smart.
We're very smart.
Ignore the fact that like chat had to tell us that.
Yeah, whatever. Thanks, chat. The real heroes.
Super happy with Brazen Borrower as a draw as well.
Yeah. I like Bobble in their upkeep again.
Are you sure we don't want to draw Force?
Yeah, I guess another look at Force. This is the turn where we care about that. All right, you convinced me.
All right, yeah, Dark Ritual on top.
All right.
Because this is the Planeswalker turn where our graveyard can be fucked.
Yeah. And because they drew Dark Ritual, they can Wasteland and Planeswalker this turn.
Oh, that's so bad.
Yikes.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
DGAF, that's fine.
Like, it's not a Planeswalker. Like, Ashiok coming down before this Uro escapes is what I care about.
Yes. So,
all around yikes here, though.
Yeah, is what it is.
Maybe they'll sandbag Planeswalkers, though, in all honesty, because we have 6 cards in hand and aren't making plays.
Does Pox get to sandbag, especially when they have Curse Scroll in play? Like, I feel like they need to get Hellbent.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, this is definitely Awkward City. The Curse Scroll makes, even if we draw like a 0 to cast Emery, the Curse Scroll makes that tenuous at best. But just a land to get the Strix going is the best thing we could hope for. ones.
Didn't they just tap wrong and miss
Did
out on a point of damage by
not if they want to cast something still. They do
Okay.
have Dark Ritual.
That's fair. All
I
right.
don't think Dark Ritual Smallpox right now and just kill themselves. All right, that's not the smallpox I was looking for.
All right. We get to discard a card, which I guess is the secondary Uro, question mark.
Yeah, that's my guess also. That sounds like it makes sense.
It's kind of weird because if they get the follow-up Ashiok, it's devastating.
Yeah, but we're losing to Ashiok anyway. All right, Simic Signet, time to shine.
So this is actually like one of the best possible draws, right? Because
yeah,
we potentially get to Brazen Borrower the Lily away. If
yeah,
plus again.
I'm into just Ancient Tomb, Simic Signet, pass. Just hold up. Petty Theft.
We even like get to make the attack on Liliana to make it look like we care about it.
Fuck yeah. I guess they can pick up Ratchet Bomb and then just wreck us hard. Let's hope they just missequence this though.
Yeah, I don't think I get the luxury of like bouncing that Ratchet Bomb to save my Signet or anything like that.
Well, you can't. Brazen Borrower thought of that. You can only target opponent's stuff. Unfortunately.
Boo.
I know. Usually the best part of an unsummon is saving your own creature. Yeah, let's just float mana and let it happen.
Oh. Yep, alright.
This is interesting because if they are, never mind, they can move into beginning of combat and still make their attack.
Yep. Alright, so.
Do we bounce Liliana anyway?
I feel like it's a decent tempo play.
Yeah, alright, let's do it.
It's not the glory play that we wanted.
Nope.
But like it potentially saves us 3-ish points of life this turn. Keeps them a little further away from being hellbent for Curse Scroll.
Yeah, and if they plus Liliana this turn, they're going to lose whatever that card is, unless it's just a land that they'll replay. But if it's a spell, they might have to think about it a little bit.
Ooh.
All right. Yeah, so it's something that's better than making us discard. I think we have to Strix here. Like, Emery just dies to Liliana.
Alright. Makes sense to me.
Emery also dies to Scroll. So Emery is just completely useless at this point. It's Liliana food. We just need to find 2 green sources. The next 2 draws. This draw and draw step.
Meh.
Not quite.
I mean, that's technically an artifact to fuel a cheaper Emery to like maybe double creature in a turn, but the Carne resolving is also pretty good. Like that shuts off Curse Scroll and makes our creatures more alive.
The Carne, then Emery's a little safer because they have to Liliana. They don't get to just scroll it for free. Fatal Push in the deck.
All right. I mean, that's very important to know about for later.
Yep. All right, let's see if that was the card they were protecting last turn. Like, are they going to plus here or not?
No.
Right, that's still not what they were protecting. All right, so if we ram Carne, he could...
If they have land, Carne can take 4.
Yeah, so we might... Or, yeah, so they can't Curse Scroll because that costs 3. I think we just ram Carne here.
Yeah, I mean, Carne also just shuts off the Curse Scroll.
Yeah, good one.
I'd actually probably just tap this and don't fetch.
That makes sense to my brain. I just plus on nothing.
I agree.
All right, let's see who wins this Planeswalker fight. What have they been holding on to all this time?
If they have one of the like black exile your Planeswalker things, we get super screwed here.
Just Murderous Rider.
Yep. What's
That's
the
other spell.
There's also that 3-mana one that gets a creature or planeswalker or both if you have Delirium.
Oh yeah. To the slaughter.
Thank you.
Yeah, Elder Spell.
Oh god.
No worse. Alright, now we can dump one of these Emeries. So if they don't have a mana source, they can only attack Carne for 3, and then we can wish for something.
Our Sorceress Spyglass is boarded in. Is that correct?
Is it?
Yes,
it might be.
It is.
Okay. We're 1 mana short. We could get... So coding doesn't do anything.
We can EE and kill Lily, but then we'd lose the Carne.
Yeah, so we can Ballista for 2. That would trade with Liliana, but we'd also lose Carne there.
It also doesn't trade with Liliana if they have another push.
Right. Whatever card they've been protecting all this time is still there.
So we have this Emery, which unfortunately will cost 3 mana as of right now. Maybe 2 if we get an artifact from the board.
And we can get Ensnaring Bridge and cast Chalice on one, and that'll at least stop their attacks. And then they have to figure things out with Liliana.
Okay, so if we get Bridge, Lily ticks up to 5. We plus Carne, Lily ticks up to 6. We minus Carne, killing Carne, and then how do we beat the Lily? Like, if
we have to draw Brazen Borrower or Replicate or our Spyglass. We have Brazen Borrower in exile.
Yeah, are there worlds where we're just supposed to, like, cast a creature, flash in Brazen Borrower, use that to kill Lily, try to keep the Carne alive or something?
So how do we keep this Carne alive? I guess we could just plus him to 4 and hope that's good.
We don't have access to triple blue, to Emery and Brazen Borrower.
Right, we can't also Emery. We could just play the Emery and force them to minus Liliana. So if we Chalice on 1, we don't have... Right, we don't have triple blue for that.
Yeah.
Right? So
we can play Chalice on 1, then play Emery for 2 mana, plus Carne on nothing, and it's very unlikely that the Carne dies.
All right, let's see. We can also play Ensnaring Bridge, Chalice on 0 and Emery, and we can kill our own Chalice if we need to get free of that, but they're going to have to minus the Liliana, and that'll buy us a bunch of turns towards Ultimate, and we'll beat Ultimate.
Do they have to minus the Lily if we play Emery?
I think so.
Okay. Should we try that?
Yeah, if we start recurring stuff from our graveyard, they're going to lose. Wait. Chalice is on 0.
Okay, sorry.
Because we need to get the Ensnaring Bridge.
Oh, right. Okay. That's definitely one of the harder turns I've had in a long time with decks like this.
Yeah, Carne is tricky to...
Alright, and we have to use life for this? No, we don't.
No. Yeah, we can just tap our swamps. Nice.
Oof.
All right. So unless they have a removal spell in their hand, they're going to have to minus Liliana, or else we're going to take over this game. And even if they do that, it becomes a Carne versus Liliana race. And we have tons of top decks. And by tons, I mean like 5. But even like restarting the Carne on higher loyalty or slamming Uroza here, Oko's great. We have a ton of top decks. I'll re-amend my statement to the original statement.
Okay. All right. Goodbye, Emery. Goodbye.
I think basic swamp because they have Urborg.
Sounds good.
Everything's just a swamp.
Yeah.
All right, race is on.
This is spooky.
Yeah, we can cast this one on 1.
Are we supposed to? Are there worlds where we're trying to attack Brazen Borrower into Lily?
Well, they're going to plus Liliana, so we'll never be able to get above our own bridge.
Okay. We will spike Spyglass and make it work out.
Yeah, we just need a Spyglass or Abrupt Decay, and it'll be okay.
It's unfortunate that bridge cannot attack through itself.
It cannot, no. We could plus on our Chalice for 0. Just maybe, I don't know.
I'm getting it out of the way.
Yeah.
Like, it shuts off Metalcraft, but, like, if we're drawing an Opal, it's not relevant at the stage of the game anyway.
Right, and we can't cast it with our Chalice on 0. Yeah, if Carne were as good as Oko, then the Ensnaring Bridge could be attacking. All right, let's do it. Figure it out right here. Recarn. What does that do?
We need to be at 6 mana for it to do something, I guess.
We can get the Ballista.
I can get the Ballista with this card.
On for a turn.
Yep.
But they can Curse Scroll, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We could Engineered Explosives for 3.
No,
it's not good.
We have 4. We have 4 mana.
All right, Walking Ballista it is.
And so I just nugged the Liliana for 1 here.
Yes. Yeah. And they'll need a mana source to Curse Scroll us. Hopefully they brick on a mana source and have to minus Liliana, and that'll just buy us thousands of years to figure this game out.
Our own life total is also getting spooky. Like, we have the Ensnaring Bridge, but any turn where we have to tap the tomb is scary.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, so we just nug in response. All right, that just bought us a ton of time. This card should be able to win the game now, if it's still in our hand come our turn.
Nice.
All right, easy game.
Plus nothing.
Yeah, plus nothing.
And now we have 5 mana showing. And Mycosynth Lattice with any 1 land wins this game. Which is good because we spent like 5 minutes tanking that 1 turn.
Yeah, we're way down on time. We need to win this game. Oh no.
Don't murderous rider me, bro. Fuck the Eldritch Spell! No! No, the Ensnaring Bridge would still be an Ensnaring Bridge, so.
Oh, right on time. Force of Will, thanks for showing up.
Thank you, Force of Will.
We did our best.
It's okay. Oko off the top is an out.
I think we Brazen Borrower and step this turn.
I 100% agree.
Because then Oko...
Oh god, what do you have?
Fetch and response. Quickly. All of them. Oh, we can Force of Will this. That's better than Brazen Borrower.
Is it?
Yes. Get green sources too late on one of them. We have a lot more blue than green, and we really want this Uro to happen.
JK, we have only a Bayou left.
Oh, they wasted us. Okay. So we're gonna need some help from artifacts to get there anyway.
All right. So like the path I see towards winning is Brazen Borrower, draw Oko off the top, Oko Bridge, kill Lily. That's the out that I see. But are you looking towards Uro as an out?
Like yeah. Now that I know that we can't draw a green source, I guess Lotus Petal or Mox Opal still get Uro.
like I don't know.
I would force this myself.
Okay.
Honestly.
I just think we're playing towards like just Spyglass or something like that if we force this.
And Spyglass, Abrupt Decay, Green Source are all good.
Well, I guess Oko off the top still turns Bridge into a creature and still whacks Lily. So like I guess it's fine. It just doesn't kill it. Yeah. All right.
All right, concede.
GG.
Oh no.
Do we concede?
Yes. We're dead, right?
Like our opponent ultimates Lily, we float mana for Brazen Borrower.
All right, let's try
All right. And we keep whatever pile does not have Bridge so that we can attack.
Yeah.
Like we're 99% dead to that Mishra's Factory, I guess, but like who knows?
Yeah, we're actually just dead to scroll also. All right, yeah, we should concede. We can't win this game.
Okay. All right, so we want aggro start this time.
Yeah, we need a quick cheese. We got 4 minutes to make this happen. All right, 3.5. Yikes.
All right, our chalices did not seem particularly good.
No, they were bad. I think we want those guys.
I think we just want bodies. I'm also not sure about boring the Spyglass in.
Yeah, I think we lost because we did that.
I agree. So. Opal back in or like Mystic Dispute?
Yeah, let's have Opal. Let's maximize speed here.
Yeah, so I don't know your philosophy on it, but like I never care if I time out when I'm streaming or recording because I find it more interesting as far as content production goes to like delve into those interesting spots when they come up.
No, you're totally right. Like I don't care. We are very likely to time out here.
Like I think I'm sitting on like 800 play points or something like that right now. So like,
yeah,
it's free.
The ticks aren't gonna break us, but yeah. Unfortunately, like because we talked about it, like these decks can be grindy, and like things that are fast in real life, like activate Urza, is like slow on Magic Online because you have to like click Urza, then click the artifact you want to tap, and do that 5 times, and then click Urza. It's like 11 clicks to flip an Urza. So this can get time consuming if you don't just stomp them out.
Yeah, but generally speaking, I'm not worried about pace of play with these sorts of decks. Yes. Keep.
Yep, let's go.
Bottom the Uro.
Yeah.
Delta Pedal Pass.
Yeah.
It's all right. We only have 8 minutes to make up to time out our opponent, so.
Yeah. Maybe they'll have some difficult lines, difficult pox lines to figure out. Or they just like Dark Ritual Thoughtseize him us right now. Don't care.
Yep.
Oko, let's go. Or Ancient Tomb. Yeah, I like the seat here because C is more important.
Sinkhole, cool.
Shit. All right, come on, Ancient Tomb, we need you.
Force of Will's fine. I am 100% fine trying to ride a Carne to victory.
Yeah, that's fair. If they sink our hole here, we can still Oko.
Okay.
Waste not.
All right.
Don't care. Don't care.
Yeah, I don't foresee doing very many things. Okay, which one of our plays is best?
Urza. Urza lets us cast Emery also. Yeah, so tap the construct for blue and also Emery. And now we get some F6 value.
Yep. We actually have like a very terrifying hand, like for our opponent. Oko coming down next turn, assuming they don't sinkhole us, is very, very good. Curse Scroll's not anywhere close to a guaranteed hit right now. Fuck, man.
That's fine. We have Bobble in the graveyard. We're beating for 5 a turn, or 4, 5? 2, 3, 4. We're beating for 4 a turn and drawing an extra card, plus whatever our top deck gives us. All right, so play the Bobble from the graveyard, play the Bobble from our hand, attack for 5, and then pop both Bobbles on their turn. We could also flip with Urza right now instead of drawing a card. But that takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
I think we should pass just because of the time worries. Yeah, 1 now, 1 later. Ashiok, all right.
I'm just going to do both now for F6 reasons, even though
but
it's
they
like...
have Ashiok. Now they get them both with that Ashiok they just showed us.
Oh, shit. I see.
Hopefully Ashiok just isn't a winning line, because it doesn't affect the board. But it does... I don't know, it does brick Emery, unless one of our 3 draw steps is another artifact to loop with her.
That shrinks the construct. That's super relevant.
Yeah, that's actually really good. Though, if they shrink the construct, then they don't take us off green.
I feel like Emery's going here. Because they probably Ashiok at some point.
But not this turn. I think we have to... I don't know. It's fine. Either Emery or a construct.
Okay.
Like all right.
There's no time. I am going to keep the thing.
Seat.
Yep. Not seat. Oops. That's bad. We'll draw Strix and punish me.
Yeah, we're definitely going to draw Strix or Abrupt Decay. All right. So we have 3 draws here. Let's rebuild. That's good. That's insane. That was a really good run. So we just cast the Strix off Bayou, bash. Oh wait, they have Urborg. We don't even need to fetch. Shit.
That's okay. Now we get Tropical Island.
Yeah.
It's really awkward if I draw something that I can't cast and then I give them waste not value. Nice.
All right, the nuts. All right, now we just ram. We have more artifacts than before they killed all our artifacts. All right, and F6 value is on. And we don't care about Ashiok with this board.
Nope. Yeah, I wonder if they're going to have to like Curse Scroll gamble in order to clear some of this stuff.
All right, so we sack the Strix. It's pretty easy. And Urza attacks Liliana.
Yep, construct attack space.
Oh, that's nice. And then we can just cast this Brazen Borrower as a 3/1 in response to a discard spell and make them dead.
Yep.
3.5 minutes, plenty.
Time is a resource.
Yes.
Why would you not use all of your resources? And like
we abuse the clock in game 2. I honestly, this tilts me so hard when I'm playing. When my opponent is just like in the tank or obviously double queuing, and they have like 3 minutes left going into a game 3, and then they just win.
Oh yeah, it's the worst.
Hate it.
I'm guilty, but I'm only guilty
Yeah.
on stream, so.
We're both guilty right now.
Land into Toxic Deluge for 4 would be pretty hot.
That would, in fact, beat us. They just chose the
wow.
wrong Urborg, though.
That,
so, LOL. Frantic misclicking for the win. We take those. Not too proud. Wait, don't we know the last card in their hand is Ashiok?
Yeah.
All right.
GG.
I hope they just tilt make us sit here for their last 5 minutes.
I want to give them... Wow, luck into 3 artifacts, then I misclick. But your Ashiok was your last card, and it wasn't going to get you out of this situation.
Yeah, you also chose to put Waste Knot in your deck instead of a card that did anything. So, good games.
Does holding up Curse Scroll actually leave them not dead? Leaving up... If they
yes, they get another turn.
Yeah.
Too bad that's not what they did. Yeah, Eddie, this has just been an insanely long match. You'll notice that opponent's at 5 minutes and we're at 1. We won game 3 with 3.5 minutes on the clock when we started, though. Just went to Stompy Town, and they played Waste Knot instead of Liliana or a card that mattered.
Yep.
More like waste a lot, am I right?
Yep.
And now we're going to sit here for 5 minutes. Just remind them casually that they're on stream. Or they're just gonna try to do like the rope dance where like they try to catch you not paying attention to like get an extra minute off you.
Yeah, I'm F6.
Yeah. It doesn't matter when you're already sideways in the red zone.
Yeah, I find when you remind people that they're potentially on video, they do a better job of conceding.
Yeah. Character is how we act when no one's looking.
All right, so we lost against a companion deck, beat the non-companion decks. That's how it works, right?
Haven't seen any cats yet.
They've got to be around.
What was even our second match? I don't even remember playing 3 matches at this point.
We won game 1, and our opponent then timed
against
out.
the zombie deck. Yeah, okay. All right. I literally forgot that happened.
I mean, I think with triple Tormod's Crypt Recursion, we were pretty well off in that matchup.
Yeah. Plus being a deck with something to do as powerful as Carne, just like you're not even necessarily dead. Like if you're playing like Delver, if Hogak resolves, you're dead game 1.
No, not anymore, man. They have 2 main deck Caracas.
Oh yeah. The technology now is a land that barely casts your spells, but it's worth doing.
Phil, I saw a sweet Luris Esper list. Are you down for donation decks that haven't been played yet? Yes, absolutely. I have, I think, 2 more Ikoria or pre-Ikoria deck lists to do that I'll take care of this week. So around the weekend, I'll probably be looking to start with new cards. I do have a 5-color Loam deck list that includes some new cards, I think, that I'll be doing soonish. Jeskai Luris. Yeah, I'm in for that too.
I think this is a keep, even though it's slow.
Alright, we're playing against a Luris deck.
Oh. Alright, so they're either Storm or a Wasteland deck, right? Like those are the only Luris piles these days. And
That's not necessarily true. There's also things like Luris Standstill floating around.
oh Jesus! All right. I don't like this hand against something like Delver, for example.
Yeah, I think we're stone cold dead to Delver.
Yeah, I like mulliganing it. I think that Chalice of the Void by design is just good against Luris decks because their cards cost a certain amount. I like this hand. It's fine if they are a Delver pile.
Yeah, this is like just a fine hand. I don't think it's great.
Yeah, I think Carne is the bottom, unfortunately. Oh wait, no, Karn's very good against Storm, if they are Storm.
I was thinking Brazen Borrower.
Yeah. All right, I'm in for Brazen Borrower.
Okay, great. Kind of MTG. I'll take a look at. Fuck, I forgot to play Bobble. I'm gonna say that was a tactical decision for reasons.
Yes, we're gonna somehow get rewarded. Like they're gonna just think we're like some blue to Delta deck. All right, so they are Delver. So Strix is the cat's ass.
All right. Do I have a basic swamp or anything?
Yes. There's one basic swamp. I like basic swamp, basic island Strix.
So, like, the funny thing about not playing and cracking Bobble immediately is that it might give us a cheaper Emery.
Yeah, I like putting Bobble into play, but not cracking it now.
I agree. Next level Galaxy Brain plays.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, kinda MTG. Never mind. I'm only like 25% paying attention to chat today. Alright. That is strong.
It's never not going to be an Arcanist. Let's see if they offer the trade. Alright, they didn't, which means they probably have Lightning Bolt.
Alright, are there worlds where I want to crack this Bobble now? I'm thinking no in case we draw a blue source, but...
I don't think so. I think we just want the guaranteed 1 mana Emery. So if we go Petal, Emery, Strix, we can do all of that and still play around Days.
By also playing Bayou, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Question though, do we want to just play Strix first? In case...
Oh wait, we don't have double blue.
Yeah, we would have to use the Lotus Petal. So I think we play Bayou, then play Strix first, and reevaluate our position.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
It just...
Oh, we shouldn't have played Bayou first, because if we draw a blue source, yeah.
I was just thinking of playing around the Days with the Petal.
I think we should cast that, probably.
So do I. It's weird that we give up a Petal to do it, but...
Yeah, but like if it resolves, it just upgrades Petal to a Forever Petal. And if it doesn't resolve, then we
got
Days out of their hand. But I think it's clear they don't have Days, because they would have done it last turn, unless they drew it this turn.
Yeah. Man, Lightning Bolt from our opponent is so fucking good.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have it, or else they would have offered the trade with Delver last turn.
I agree.
Because Arcanist is just so much more important.
Alright, so we have a Days.
Oh, there's the Days. Now we know. Or, I guess, better case scenario, and also a good play, is they didn't have Bolt, but they're hoping to find it before they have to make an attack.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Alright. No crack on Bobble?
I think we have to crack Bobble at this point.
Okay.
Because I want to find a land to... Like, this isn't really going anywhere fast, this current lineup.
Right.
They're drawing Thoughtseize, that's good to know. Seed of the Synod would be a great draw.
Okay.
Alright, so we can cast Oko and Emery, and they get to Thoughtseize Carne.
So we know they have a daze, though.
Right.
So if we cast Emery second, it's just eating it.
Yes.
Which is probably fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I would rather have Ochre resolve than Emery if I have to choose, and we do. And you can't try to bait force with Emery first because we know they have days.
Yep.
Unless they force pitching days here, it should be great. Force pitching days. All right, so now we jam Emery. And hope they don't find a lightning bolt with their draw step plus 3 ponder.
Okay.
We need to play that. Bubble. Yeah. Also, milling Uro would be cool.
Recurring Strix is sweet.
Yes, we just need Emery to survive the turn. We have Bobble to recover from this Thoughtseize a little bit.
Yeah, if Emery makes it around the table and we get to get +1 Strix every turn, that's Luris levels of value.
Yeah, Emery is also Luris. They're the same card.
I was watching some of Bryant's videos from over the weekend, and the things he does with Luris are really cool.
Yeah, Storm, with all its like wonky lines anyway, just having this guaranteed Yogg-Will for 1, just hanging out there also. Pretty sweet.
Alright, this is free block, right? I don't think they're playing any 1 damage effect in the main deck.
I hope not. I would block it. Yeah, we lose Emery anyway to like 4th Bolt or whatever, but that's not seeing play these days. So they pondered into Preordain.
The Ponder shuffled as well, and they bottomed twice.
Bottom. All right, you love to see it.
All right, there's their own baubles.
Yeah, so we're gonna bobble them in their end step, and then we will at least get an untap. I guess they could brainstorm into land bolt here.
That is a very aggressive brainstorm.
Yeah, they must know how bad this Emery is for them, if that's what they're doing.
Yeah, they have to hit, like, land plus bolt, though. Alright, just all the redraws later.
Yep, they're showing us who the real bobble deck is.
This is why I'm advocating so strongly for Null Rod, and why I'm thinking about, like, brewing a Stompy deck that plays Null Rod in the main. It's good against, like, literally everything right now.
Yeah, it's nuts. All right, so we're going to see what they hid with their brainstorm. I guess they're not hiding anything because they're about to draw 3. Another Arcanist.
All right. Legacy, ladies and gentlemen.
That's $250 worth of triggers on the stack.
You know, it's a real shame that we didn't get to, like, Carne them before they played all those baubles.
Yeah, so I think we want to cast Lotus Petal from the graveyard and cast Urza.
Okay.
Like, somehow I just think that's better. And we don't have an Opal in there, right? No, that wouldn't help us anyway. Yeah, just play around days as much as we can. We know that one of these cards is Thoughtseize, and one of them is Arcanist. Days doesn't matter. They would need Force Blue card as their 2 unknowns to stop this. All right, that worked.
All right.
Now they have bigger fish to fry than Emery. So, like, if they find the bolt, they can bolt and then snapback bolt on Urza to deal all 4, but then we get to eat the thing with Construct. Our hand is Thoughtseize proof, unless they want to Thoughtseize and then throw away Arcanist.
Which
to
might
get the other one.
Actually makes sense.
Yeah, that's probably a reasonable play to make if they can't interact with this card meaningfully.
Yeah, we might have turned the corner here.
Yeah, we're just gonna need to handle this Delver, but the Strix in the graveyard should be able to do that. All right, so they are re-Thoughtseizing us at the cost of their Delver or their Arcanist. Snip block. Love it. So we can bring Strix back and then also cast Oko.
Seems good.
Yeah, I'm into it. Yeah, this grows the construct as well. Wow. We're
Big!
So Signet first.
Okay.
Oko.
What are we doing with this?
I think I like turning the flying Delver into a not flying elk. Like the only way they're going to win this game at this point is if they just like hemorrhage flying damage past this Strix, then burn us out. If we elk the insectile aberration and we have Strix to block the other one, then we're not taking any damage this turn, and we can start winning next turn.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to. I don't want to be more aggressive than we need to here. And they scooped it up. Nice.
Whew.
We're playing against Popo Head. I believe this is a local Pittsburgh person that I know.
All right. So I like Abrupt Decays. Plague Engineer is.
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, you just name Wizard and it kills the Delvers and bricks the Arcanists.
And like there are things that we may or may not board in beyond that.
So I want Dispute in because we're going to cut some of the Force of Wills. Because having Force of Will against Delver, I don't like it.
Okay, that makes sense.
I want like some number, but like usually 2 is where I want to be. And Carne? So Uro is actually pretty bad because, like you said, these decks just play 2 Caracas now, plus they have Red Blast. Like Uro is a lot of work and to get answered easily. Plus, if they bring in any graveyard hate, it's going to splash damage Uro. So I just don't like Uro at all. I like cutting both of them.
Okay. Then do we want to trim a Carne to round things out?
Yes. So trimming Carne, I usually trim a Carne or an Urza, and I like Carne less than Urza here.
Yeah. In playing other Stompy decks, I find that Carne's pretty bad versus Delver because he doesn't immediately impact the board unless you have additional mana. And
right.
So too frequently, Carne becomes a 4-mana tutor for a card that you telegraph to them and give them a turn to set up an answer.
Right. So for that reason, I like having engineered explosives in the deck rather than in the wish board.
Okay.
And I think we can cut Signet for that. Like Signet is another card that doesn't affect the board.
Okay. What about like Signet versus Petal? Like, is Signet better since it sticks around?
I like Petal better in the Delver matchups because it's way more prone to daze.
Okay, that makes sense.
Getting your Signet dazed is a nightmare. And Petal just blank stays instead.
All right. Do you like this configuration?
Yeah, I'm into it. I haven't thought about this yet, but I wonder if bringing in like a Crypt or 2 is right now that Luris is just in their deck. Like they're deeper on Dreadhorde Arcanist than they've ever been, plus they have Luris. I think this hand sucks. But I don't know, maybe it's not as bad as it seems at first, because we have Strix, we have 2 basic lands.
Like this is turn 2 Strix with any artifact or land, turn 3 Emery or Plague Engineer.
I think this is fine, though I'm not excited about it. I don't think it's we need to mulligan. I would mulligan it on the play, trying to aggressively find Chalice.
I agree with that, but I don't know that we're supposed to throw back a hand that just has like mana stability plus cards that are potentially 2-for-1s.
Yeah, I agree.
So remind me to fetch at their end step so they don't know what card we draw.
Is that? I wonder if that's more important than having more lands in our deck when we go to draw.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't actually know the answer. I don't know if there is an answer, but like they don't have Cabal Therapy or anything in their current builds. I think I'd rather maximize hitting a land than give them that little bit of information.
Okay.
Rogue Judge, we're definitely not going to force that brainstorm. Force a Will in this matchup needs to be for something backbreaking. Like if we stick a Chalice, they're going to have like a Brazen Borrower, or I guess they can't play Brazen Borrower because of Luris, but they could have like a Braid or a Goblin Crater Maker to get out of the Chalice, and we have to save the Force for that, or for the Luris itself.
Oh god, fuck Goblin Crater Maker. That card is rough.
Alright, so they know we have an Urza, which might help us. Like, if they sculpt their hand around having Days ready and we just have another one, could be good. I mean, we definitely didn't want that. We'd rather draw a land, for sure. But
there's the land.
Got there. Easy game.
Yeah, Mishra's Bauble acting as like baby Gataxian probes towards helping the Delver players build more informed decisions is also a side benefit of this whole like Luris card draw recursion engine.
Yeah, it is really interesting though that like Mishra's Bauble started getting played in competitive Magic in order to fuel Tarmogoyfs and Gurmag Anglers, and you can't play Gurmag Angler in your Luris deck. So it's interesting how playable Mishra's Bauble is. It's been reprinted and it's still a $60 uncommon. And you think about how Bauble compares to Probe, and then you realize that we were allowed to play Probe for a very long time in Legacy and Modern, and it's crazy. So like how good Gataxian Probe is now that we are older and smarter.
Yeah, and that's something you read about like every once in a while in articles is like people going back and looking at past formats and then just like very clearly going like, hey, when this was legal, why weren't we blah?
Yeah,
we've seen some huge deck building advances over the past 5 to 10 years, especially like in Legacy. Like the fact that Miracles used to play like 4 Brainstorms and then like begrudgingly play a few Ponders, no Preordains. Is that worth a Force of Will?
I think it might be. Yeah, let's force and pitch the Urza that they know about.
I agree.
If we get Dazed, it's brutal, but like it has to be Daze or their own Force here.
I think Daze is getting us at like literally any point of this game, though, right? Like,
yes, yeah. The way we've played, the way our draw is panned out, plus they have the Wasteland sitting there for this drop that's coming.
Okay.
All right, they force back. That's fine. So we can stick our Plague Engineer this turn named Wizard.
Yep.
And that thing just doesn't matter anymore.
I believe we're playing Seat here, correct? Because we want that to get Wastelanded over drop.
Yeah.
It's interesting because we've boarded out the Uros that we need green for, but this is still live for Oko.
Yeah, we still want to protect the green as long as we can. Yeah, and I like jamming Plague Engineer. Like, the choice between Plague Engineer and Emery here is pretty close. I guess they have Nile Spellbomb sitting in place, so it's not actually close at all. I take it all back. Wizard.
And I think we're holding the Strix.
Absolutely, yeah. We are never going to push for 1 damage until all of their permanents are gone.
I would love to see them just crack the Spellbomb this turn. Just like clear the way for our Emerys to be good later.
Yeah, just like digging for a bolt or something. I would hate for them to find a bolt, though. Not interested. Let's see a bottom off this Preordain.
This is a very devastating lightning bolt turn as well.
Yeah, and they all are. Oh, they kept one on top.
Deal.
All right, wasted.
Fuck.
Tilt, 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 tilt. Yep. Man, Lightning Bolt's a good card.
Is that the card that's good here?
It is. I think every card in their deck's pretty good.
Yeah.
So Lotus Petal was a big draw. That's not it. I guess we just jam Emery, force some action on the bobble. Oh, now they have Daze.
I mean, I'm like super happy that gets dazed, honestly.
Yeah, that was perfect. They
Like-
had the answer sitting in play, and they still spent a card on it instead.
At least they can't Luris this turn now, because just like a 3/2 lifelinker coming down right now and adding
Yep.
pressure to the clock is too much.
Yeah, and looping the bobble, nightmare.
If this finds a counter spell, I don't think we get out of this situation.
Yeah, we're going to 7 here. Yeah, none of this looks good. And they did not shuffle from the ponder.
Yikes. That's
a good
very
card.
good.
All right, yeah, so we have to kill the Delver just because of life points. But this Arcanist is going to keep chunking. But, I mean, whatever, we can go to their turn.
Yeah.
See what they do. They have a Preordain and a Brainstorm left down there. All right.
So we'll let them resolve that first, make their decisions, and then let them know that their Delver has been terminated.
Right. They top that Preordain. What a world.
Big yikes.
Yeah, so that's probably going to be Underground Sea Luris, and then we just lose.
Yep.
Delver.
I mean,
wizard.
I mean,
show me potato salad.
Come on, let me have it.
Just give it to us. No bolt, no days.
Oh yeah, so good.
Pew pew. All right, clinging to life.
It's cool. We're just one land drop away from losing the game instead. There it is.
I mean, that's fine if they spend this turn Lurising. Like, they still have to pay mana for the cards they fire out of the bin.
Well,
like, Light Bolt is way worse. All right. That doesn't do anything this turn, right?
That kills our Plague Engineer. They attack for 1. They get another cantrip.
Oh, it does deal 2 to anything. All right,
Yeah.
I forgot about that mode. All right, yeah, we're in trouble.
I don't think we win from here.
If we draw land and stick Urza and like it's unlikely. I'm not gonna lie, but there's a world where
I don't know. Like Urza is making a 1/1 construct.
Or we could jam Carne, get Tormod's Crypt, and then we're facing down a 1/3.
I think that's the line.
With no abilities, yeah. And then we can goof around with Urza next turn. Force pitching Delver. All right, whatever. They're just treading water here.
So just to address a Twitch comment, everyone is talking about Luris, but Arcanist is still the best card in the deck by far. Yeah, but Luris is another copy of this. Luris is basically always at least a 3-for-1 when you play it, because like you play it, it didn't cost you a card from your hand. You use it, you get back a bobble immediately, and then your opponent has to use a removal spell on it. And any extra turn Luris gets beyond the first turn is just insane.
All right, so we just jam Urza and hope that they have Stone Nothing for the rest of their life. Even though they have Luris, which is lots of things. Easy Red Blast. All right, we're done.
All right.
Sure, anyone can win when they're on the play with Delver.
It's when
Now
you're on the draw, things are more interesting.
Yeah, all right. So
do we actually want to bring in a Tormod script or two?
Maybe. I mean,
like Tormod script is probably as good as Mystical Dispute.
I'm not sure if I agree with that, but like Crypt is only good if we're already behind, but just the nature of Delver is that they want to put us behind and we're going to have to claw back at some point. So maybe if we bring in one, but then like, what are we cutting for it? It could be a petal or an opal. I would be down for a cutting opal or petal for one crypt in the main.
Okay. I'm going to board out the opal then. I feel like our artifact count has been kind of low because our stuff keeps dying.
Kinda MTG in the chat asked about Uro, and I don't like Uro because it's a lot of work and easily answered. The Delver decks all have Red Blast. They all have Force of Will. They've started playing Caracas. I've seen up to 2 Caracas in the main deck of Delver, and like just casting Growth Spiral twice and then having it answered for basically free. Like a Delver deck can recoup gain 6 out of their opponent, but the 6/6 body is easily answered and really hard to redeploy. So, and it's also gets splash damage from any graveyard hate your opponent brings in. Like we saw Nile Spellbomb out of them game 1. These Luris decks all have Nile Spellbombs in them. This is a turn 1 Emery.
Followed by turn 2 Urza as well.
No, you're so easy. That's exactly what I was just saying. They can Red Blast it in play. They can Caracas it back to your hand. Like, it's easily beatable.
Yeah, I think Delver has adapted very, very well to Uro now.
Yeah, like, it doesn't matter. Like, you're just getting the spell side of it. You're never attacking with your 6/6. If you do, you probably win, but they have so many 1 and 0 mana answers to that play.
Sprite Dragon also can potentially get bigger than it. Oh, that is a nice, nice set of cards to hit.
All right, yeah. So they just need a Bolt or Red Blast or
Push
Nile Spellbomb
if they're playing it.
Push to get out of this. They have a lot of outs, but if they kept like a turn 1 Delver hand, all right, that's whatever. Or is it town?
We can
Oko with Daze Protection.
So if we Oko with Daze Protection...
So we can jam Urza into Daze right now, or we could play around Daze with Oko and jam Urza into Daze next turn.
I feel like if we're going to resolve an Oko, the earlier it resolves, the better.
Yeah, and I like playing around Daze. So let's make him happen here. Daze it. Daze it. All right, they forced it. That's fine.
I mean, we got a force and an early game threat.
Yep. Got the Delver out of their hand.
Unfortunately, if our opponent plays something spicy, we can't decay next turn.
Like Wasteland would be a complete nightmare. we would... I need to stop talking. If anyone's familiar with my content, basically whatever I say is going to happen happens, like for good or evil. Oh, there's Tormod script. This is what I was worried about and why I didn't want to bring in more than one. It's like if this was like a card of any kind other than Tormod script here, it would be better.
So this would have been the Lotus Petal question. Oh, okay.
Bitter Beach. All right, time to draw a green source immediately.
Please, green source dealer. I'm not ready to cash in my 1 time here, but it would be nice.
It would be nice. We have a little time before we need our 1 time. That's kind of like a green source.
It is.
And we have a deck full of Plague Engineers, so a couple fairies, not a big deal. We know they play discard, so waiting for the upkeep is where we want to be here. We wanted to bobble them there, so we knew what they had.
Yeah, shit. Yep, you're right.
No, we don't know anything.
It's okay. You already know what they have in hand with your magical wizard powers.
Yeah, it's whatever the worst possible 3 cards for us are. Though they didn't use their land drop to play Wasteland, so we dodged that one at least. We have to bobble in response to this. Or not bobble, crypt.
Yep.
Because they're going to bobble us and get a card. And we just gotta hope they don't have another bobble in their hand. Wow, Luris is fucked.
Alright. So they have a weak draw next turn.
I didn't see. What are they drawing?
Volcanic Island.
Okay. Yeah, it really sucks that this happened in the order that it did, because now if we do get to answer the Bitter Blossom, they can just recast it. We needed green on time to stop Luris from just taking things over. Yeah, seeing this play is like...
Luris Bitter Blossom is also disgusting. Like, now, just, like, timing our opponent out with Bitter Blossom isn't, like, a true win condition.
Yeah, they're still netting 2 life. So we just have to ram this Urza and hope that their 2 cards in hand aren't literally anything.
That was something. Yeah, the called shot superpower just, like, comes with playing a billion rounds of Magic and, like, gaining the ability to, like, figure out what is going to beat you. And so, like, you start talking about those hypothetical lines.
Alright, so we have to kill Luris and then draw Plague Engineer. That's the plan now.
Yeah, so whoever was just talking about Luris. So, like, Luris here forced us to board in the Tormod's Crypt, which is kind of an anemic card. It forced us to use a removal spell on it rather than Bitter Blossom. It warped our lines so that we couldn't even realistically kill the Bitter Blossom because it would just come back.
Right, so I think we need to Oko make food just to gain 3.
Yep.
And hope that their 2 cards in hand still are nothing at all. Absolutely no cards, no text.
Oh god, Hardcast Force.
Yeah, like, that's what they were telegraphing. Delver doesn't play their 5th land unless they're holding Force of Will, or because it's better as a thing to brainstorm away. So if they make that 5th land drop, you know.
Oh, Jesus, just another Force of Will. That means the top deck Plague Engineer is no longer out.
We're dead zoes.
Oof.
Yeah, Ram Ranch. That was the cat special.
All right, Brian, I'm going to take a moment and run to the restroom real quick.
Enjoy.
All right, I'll let you interchange chat and field any questions.
What's up, chat? What do you want to talk about? So I saw someone in the chat earlier ask the question, should Luris be banned, or is Luris going to get banned? And I don't know, maybe. That game was certainly indicative that it was fucked up. Van Wedge. How about the MTG novels? I really liked the Invasion cycle. That cycle of books was a lot of fun. It might be nostalgia talking because I read them when they were new, but they were definitely like big time adventure. They're like the Michael Bay of books. Like there was a lot of big fights. Rogue Judge, other than Luris and Garuda, Zerda is also really good. Zerda is in Bomberman sort of shells with the various monoliths, both Grim and Basalt. Demosian, about the mole on your neck. I've heard that like symmetry, light in color, there's like things that indicate a healthy mole and things that indicate non-healthy one. So you might want to like just Google that. Jerry Freeman, is that the European or the African swallow? Played a lot the last few days and really don't like experience companion cards bring to the game, Lurs especially. Yeah, a lot of people who have been talking about them. Like I took the weekend off Magic because I didn't want to spend like release weekend prices on these cards. So I just didn't really. I've been drafting on Arena, but I haven't played a lot of Constructed with them yet. So, but they do seem oppressive and miserable.
They're very strong.
Yes.
I've played probably 10-ish leagues since the companions went live, and they're incredibly powerful in every sort of archetype that can possibly shove one in there.
Yeah, I've done probably like between 10 and 15 drafts at this point, which is pretty far off from Legacy, but like companion experience wise, like I was drafting yesterday and I opened an Obosh. That's the your deck has to be odds 3/5 in pack 2 and just like removed all the 2s and 4s I drafted. I just like nuked my curve from pack 1 and just started drafting odd cards, and my deck was insane. So like, and like I've got run over by Luris in both Boros and Orzhov combo colors. Um, I drafted around the Elk Lord, the King of the
Jigartha?
Orphans. I don't know its actual name. Like,
Gigantha. It starts with a J and is a lot of letters long.
yes, the Orphan Warden, and that one was actually really hard to draft around, but I did it. And I'm not sure if it made my deck better than if I had just like played a reasonable curve of humans and stuff that it doesn't buff. Or I could have just like put it in my deck as a 3-drop instead of trying to draft around it. But a lot of them are insane. I've seen a lot of people posting about Yorian just being worth playing 60 unlimited for. Like it's they all seem very good. The like 5/5 for 5 elk thing that taps for Wooburg, that's basically free. Like that's just a 5 mana 5/5 in your opening hand if you draft a deck at all.
People are talking about Yorian Miracles as well, playing 4 Astrolabe, 8 Strix effects, and 4 Abundant Growths to help the fixing.
Yeah, Anurag was streaming that last night or the night before, and I watched like one game. He was streaming like as I was going to bed, but I watched a game and basically he just played a normal Miracles game, like traded 1 for 1, got to a steady place, and then just cast a 4/5 dragon that drew him 5 cards. And it was like, okay, yeah, I can see why you might like this.
All right, let's go ahead and start queuing into the next round. There was another question about like changes we might make to the deck list, but let's save that until we played one more game and kind of do that in a debrief at the end.
Yeah, my my instinct right now is scrap it.
That is also my instinct as well. I think you need to be playing a companion or doing something that hates very hard on companion decks moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, noteworthy against that Delver deck is that we never drew a Chalice of the Void in 3 games, so we don't know if that's still good enough. We saw the Crater Maker in game 2, but I don't know. Like those matchups are already like wildly dependent on like do you have Chalice or not, and this just makes it so much worse.
And then Chalice on Zero also becomes relevant against Delver now, which is super weird.
Yeah, and Chalice on Zero hurts you more than it hurts your opponent, basically no matter who they are, short of like Belcher. All right, I think we have to mulligan this hand.
Well, it does have some things going for it. Like we have
Yeah.
a lot of blue symbols in our hand. I hear blue cards are good.
If they are Belcher, then this hand is great. I actually the first Star City Legacy Classic that I won, I kept a hand that looked like this in the finals. I was against Belcher on the draw, and I kept a hand of like Delver, Force, Daze, Brainstorm, Ponder, or something. It was just like, come on, a land anytime in the first couple draws, and we're good.
Snap Keep, Bottom Oko.
Yes, I like it.
This is the hand where we hope there's Storm. so that our turn 2 Carne wins the game.
Yeah, we hope there's Storm, and we get to turn 2, and they don't Thoughtseize us. That's not a Storm card.
Uh-oh.
I hope this is the Standstill deck, though it's probably
JPA's list.
Yeah.
In which case, the main deck Lavinia would do things against us.
Yeah, we would have to brazenly borrow it. But Lavinia doesn't interact with Urza in a meaningful way. Or I guess it does. It stops the flipping with Urza, but it doesn't stop us from casting or beating down with Urza. So, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Rogue Judge, we don't need any additional information. We'll play it for realsies. But enjoy watching both sides of the matchup if that's something you're into. Sweet.
Oh, baby. This hand just went from 0 to hero. All right, let's see if we get dazed or forced, or if they concede immediately.
All right.
Daze. All right, so this is the JPA.
I mean, that's fine. Like, next turn, we just try to, like, ram a card down their throat and see if it works.
Yeah. This hand that we kept gets dazed no matter what. Please don't wasteland us. Tilt.
Strong.
Never not. I think we have to play the
Tomb.
I guess, yeah, whatever. Run out the Tomb. If they have another wasteland,
yeah, we just like concede to it.
Yeah. Maybe we'll draw a third one, and they'll have nothing, and we win.
I also will not concede to this deck until I actually see what they're doing, because like there's a world where they're not actually a Delver deck.
Yeah, Landstill would also play. I guess Daze is kind of a
Daze is less common there.
Yeah.
So like my gut says like this is Delver, this is Delver, this is Delver, but like the metagame is still new enough that there's all sorts of crazy shit out there.
Yeah.
All right,
that's not the Tundra they bounced.
That also pretty much cements that we're probably looking at JPA's list. Crack Bobble during their turn, or keep this around for artifact count. I think we need to cycle this.
Yeah, we have to cycle, for sure. Do they have any Thoughtseize effects?
No, they're blue, white, red.
All right, then let's just bobble them now so we get the draw. Yeah, if they can't look at or interact with our hand, then it's better to do it now because we do have instants in our deck. This double Brazen Borrower might actually be pretty good as far as...
It's much better if we have another land.
Yes. All right, so we might be able to, like, if they deploy a threat here, so we can Petty Theft this end step, and then untap and jam Urza.
I like it. It's awkward to be like using Ancient Tomb to Petty Theft, but it's going to save us damage if the Delver flips, which it almost assuredly will because they're top-topping with Preordain.
Yeah, they know what's coming. Yeah, it's going to deal us 2, but it's going to save us 3, so here we are.
Life gain off Ancient Tomb. You saw it here first.
Yep, Ancient Tomb has lifelink. Wouldn't that be sick? Is there a way in Ikoria to put a lifelink counter onto your Ancient Tomb?
Stranger things have happened. I've seen screenshots of them, their EDH games. Sorry, Commander games. It's 2020.
So, let's play Bobble, but don't crack it,
and
jam Urza. So we might be able to hold up Petty Theft if Urza doesn't get dazed. All right, Force is fine.
All right, that got rid of the Delver.
All right, him to Taraku, buddy.
lightning bolt.
All right. I'll keep that one in mind with this ancient tomb eating us alive.
Yeah, this is probably just going to be a game where we pivot and try to kill them in the air.
Yeah, that looks like it's likely going to be where we have to go. Is this true name Nemesis? Nope. Arcanist. All right.
Yeah, they can't play True Name because of Loris.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yuck. So we could slam Carne, though we know they're holding Lightning Bolt. What does Carne do?
Carne can awkwardly get Crypt.
Yeah, which puts him to 3. So we have to force the Bolt just to keep Carne at 2. But do we have a better play?
The other play is just like Brazen Borrower this sucker and try to buy a turn.
Yeah, but then we don't have Force ever. I think we might have to ram Carne here. So I guess if we plus Carne, we just get eaten by the Bolt plus Arcanist. Yeah, I think we just have to ram Carne here, get Crypt, and force the Bolt, and hope that that holds the fort somehow.
We can also get Carne uptick, then force second Bolt. That leaves Carne
exactly the same.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the same, except it doesn't clear their graveyard. So I like Carne get Crypt, and then on the we force the Bolt, Crypt them.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then next turn, Carne will be at 2, and we get Ensnaring Bridge and just hope it holds for a while. This is ugly.
Interesting spot. This Ancient Tomb is also going to be problematic if we go for an Ensnaring Bridge line as of right now.
Yes. We will be able to get Hellbent pretty quick. The problem is this.
Oh, they're just going to go to attacks without casting the Bolt.
That's fine.
Yeah, we just let them do that, right?
Yeah. Are they attacking Carne? They probably should.
No, they're attacking me.
Oh, wow. All right. Base is the place. All right, so they think that this Bolt can race you, which it probably can.
They also might be playing around Force of Will, because admittedly we have telegraphed it pretty hard.
Yeah, we have made it abundantly clear that's the card that we have. Yeah, so if they ponder for any Daze, Spell Pierce, Force anything, Force of Negation, then they can Bolt with impunity. They did not shuffle that ponder. That sucks. Right. We have committed to this line. Feed me my beating.
Just another Bolt?
Yeah, probably, yeah. Easy squeezy.
I mean, we get to eat a pretty juiced graveyard.
Yeah.
That's not what we want.
Yeah, I mean, that's whatever. That gets us out of needing Ancient Tomb. Like, we can crypt them in response to combat, trigger this turn, and then cast the Brazen Borrower, and we're actually winning that race until Luris joins anyway. So we crypt here.
Yeah.
Splat.
So again, going back to the like Arcanist is the best card in the deck, like this looming Luris is far more frightening than the Arcanist itself. Like the fact that it gets to buy back this, which in turn buys back your spells, is horrifying.
Right. So we want Trop. Yeah, so if we Brazen Borrower, start to race, like if we find like Uro or Oko here, there might be a chance. That's not what we wanted.
I was mentally just confirming that we were still on game 1.
We are indeed, yeah.
Are we just holding this tomb at this point, or are
Yes.
we playing it? All right.
Yeah, like we're not going to tap this card for mana. We're at 8.
Yeah, like dealing ourselves 4 is it's probably a no-go.
And now our opponent just showing off with Brainstorm. Like, oh, we're in this weird mid-game holding pattern. I'll make my hand perfect, GG. But like Luris, like you were just saying, this Luris just sitting here waiting to kill us.
Like it also just like completely invalidates our clock, right? And we can't block Luris because of like Brazen Borrower's restriction.
Yeah.
So we effectively have a 0 damage clock now that they have the second white source.
Yeah, and they can just wait on Luris for as long as possible.
Yeah, they can wait until they have like counter magic to protect it. They can wait until they have a bauble to get immediate value.
Right, they can wait for us to answer the Dreadhorde Arcanist.
Alright.
Alright, some Plowshares.
Oh god. Does the kitty cat cometh? The kitty cat cometh.
Oh yeah, now that they have Bauble, they gotta do it.
And like now they get to like know our top card of library to like see if it's safe.
And draw 2 cards a turn plus whatever Arcanist does. So they're going to be drawing 3 cards a turn most likely, and bashing for a 4 while we're at 10 with 2 Ancient Tombs. It's a bad time. But they
Oh
didn't.
man, so they probably have Force of Negation.
Yeah, they must have a counter spell, and we have a good card on top if they didn't cat.
I mean, we pretty much have to.
Yeah. Yep. Is what it is.
I guess. No.
Yeah, run it out there. Like, what are we bluffing at this point? Might as well have a slightly bigger construct. And so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can actually flip Urza once this turn. Unless they plow in response to the trigger.
It is
like
not their first rodeo.
Yeah, they've been here.
All right.
All right. Wait, we still have a construct, but all right.
We have a 2/2 against like Luris Bauble.
All right.
I'm okay calling it quits there.
That's fair. Yeah, the Delver decks were hard before Luris in game 1. Like when you bring in your Decays, Engineers, and Dispute for game 2, things get a little better. All right, so Decay, Engineer, Dispute, Engineered Explosives are all coming in.
So previously we trimmed Uro, trimmed Force of Will, trimmed Signet, trimmed Carne.
That is what we did before.
And then there was the question of the Crypt, which was awkward last time.
Let's do that again. Let's experiment with it. What would be the cut? I'm not sure if it's Lotus Petal now because we're on the play and we want to have this Chalice. It might be Opal over Petal.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Mulligan.
Yeah.
Like it's nice to have lands versus Delver and all, but that's a bit much.
All right, this is a keeper.
And Urza the bin.
I think it's Crypt.
Okay, I can see that. And I just want to crack this to cycle it to get a land to hit Oko.
Yeah, I think we want to bobble ourselves. Uh, yeah, self bobble.
It's an ancient tomb,
That's a good
which I
one.
am on board with. It lets us play Oko around days. It lets us play Chalice around days.
Yeah, it just jumps the days curve for the whole game basically.
Yeah.
Bummer. Couldn't just give us a preordain one time. All right, so I want Chalice and play first, then we can start.
Yeah.
Strixen.
It's just like super unfortunate that like Delver was their turn one play given the texture of our hand. Like
Yeah,
we much would have preferred them casting a cantrip.
Yeah, every time I play against Delver and they tap their Volcanic Island on turn one, it's like, please play Ponder. But they never do. What did they pitch for this force? What did we get?
Not that.
We got Luris.
Delver.
We got the second Delver. All right.
Oh God.
That's rough. We have Strix to flush that out. Let's see if they have the turn two Arcanist also.
Oh well, that. The good news is we're not taking more damage off Ancient Tomb. The bad news is everything else.
Yeah. All right. So I think we just got our two basics and jam Strix here. They'll probably Pyroblast it, but that's fine. We have bigger shit.
We get a Strix the following turn as well, so that's not the end of the world. I also would love if Moto zoomed in on the library a little bit more when you're searching.
Yeah, the Snowlands, I always have to click them to make sure that I'm clicking the right one because the zoom is cut off. All you see is snow covered.
Yep.
And they're all piled up. So we flush the Pyroblast like we thought we would. Oh no. Don't do it.
Yeah, if this is an Arcanist and like they just set up the Pyroblast for the Strix.
We're so dead. Alright, so Strix draw Tormod script. Let's go.
The Tormod script. Oh no, we shuffled, so it's back on bottom.
Alright, well I guess we can force the Pyroblast and trade with Delver. And then we have to draw a land and name Wizard for the other thing. This is bad news, Bears.
What are we pitching?
Urza.
I agree with that.
We're so fucked.
No.
Wow, we're so dead.
Yep.
All right, so I think the verdict on this deck is that it does not hold up in the current metagame.
I agree with that. Let's pull up the deck list and look.
See if this is salvageable.
I get half of my entry fee back in play points. That is not the end of the world.
Wow, we did 3-2 that league, didn't we? We felt like we lost every match.
Well, we 3-2'd, but one of our wins was to one of our opponents not showing up for game 2.
Or we 2-3, not 3-2.
Yeah, 2-3.
Yeah, I'll take it.
All right. Yeah. So it feels like we have a little bit less card advantage than many of the decks that we played against. The Delver decks having the endgame engine of Luris and Baubles is just as good as, if not better than, our own Emery engine.
Yeah, definitely. So when this deck was good, like over the past month, Delver was largely out of favor. It was just getting crushed by all the 4-color snow decks. And this deck is pretty good at out-hammering like mid-range and like controlling decks. But Delver was always a bad matchup. And now Delver is both a larger portion of the meta and just a better deck than it was 4 days ago. So those are all bad things for this deck.
I also don't know that it has enough disruption. So, like, many of the other Stompy decks, like, let's just pull up my search Stompy deck. Many of the other Stompy decks have more aggressive early plays. So if we look at this deck, I have 16 turn 1 or turn 2 lock pieces, whereas the deck that we're playing has just the Chalice of the Voids and Force of Will to back them up. So when we're playing against combo decks, I don't know that we have enough cards to stop them. And when we're playing against the fair decks, I don't know that we grind through them. And I think we're just left in an awkward middle ground where we're not doing something that is good enough at any one thing to be competitive.
Yeah, I felt that the Storm matchup is pretty phenomenal with this deck because you have Chalice and Carne. I've not lost a Storm. I don't think I've beaten Show and Tell. Like Show and Tell is just completely unbeatable anyway. I imagine that the Bomberman decks, especially now like Supercharged with Zerta, are just like Carne or bust.
Yeah,
And
they're very good. Chalice is a speed bump there, but like as we saw, they can go over that with their monoliths.
yeah, and your whole engine, like the point of this deck, the thing that this deck is doing differently than the other Stompy decks is Emery. And if you can't Emery because you had to do a defensive Chalice on 0, then you're in a bad spot. Like Chalice on 0 only feels good when it's like turn 1 Chalice on 0 plus Emery, then like turn 2 or 3 Carne to just like buy you the breathing room to Carne. It's not a plan though. Like going long, you're going to need to answer that thing, clear it out, and then start drawing cards again. And like you said, Uro, the meta has adapted to Uro really hard. Like the fact that Grixis Delver is playing 2 Caracas main is just horrifying. Like I don't think you can play Uro and like count on Uro for the same reason you can't play Tassiger in Legacy.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw, but there's a graph floating around on Twitter. There's some guy who has been posting the results with Uro and Oko every week since they came out. And like prior to this week, it was just like straight upwards linear growth. And then this week it just boom, sharp, abrupt downturn in the not necessarily the playability, but the success rate of these cards.
Yeah, I imagine some percentage of that is like new set hype. A lot of people aren't ready for companions with their old lists, like this one we just played. Like if I would have
here, Brian, I'm gonna bring it back on screen.
Yeah, if I would have jumped into a queue with this, I would have gotten ram ranched as we just did. So I would have been on the people with Uro losing part of the graph, and then so now the meta has to adjust to like how the free wins from the people who have companions versus the people who don't are going to be over pretty soon because the meta is going to adapt. And then now that we're ready to build against companions, are they still unbeatable, or is like having an 8th awesome card in your hand in Legacy just like too good in week 1, and then we'll get used to it in week 2 and 3 and 4, and then refigure out how to play Uro and Oko, or are they actually just better than them? And I don't know the answer to that yet.
Yeah, I also think we're going to see an uptick in cards like Meddling Mage in particular that are very good against companions, globally speaking, because like Meddling Mage hates on all of them, while like also just being a reasonable card in non-companion matchups.
Yeah, Meddling Mage basically has to be in a Luris deck because Luris is going to be playing Bauble, and you need something to enable your Meddling Mage. Like that card is not playable just as like a 2/2, and you just use your powers of divination to name a correct card. I mean, it's still fine there, but like it's not a Legacy level card unless you're doing some amount of peeking.
Yeah, or you need to like grow it when you're playing something like Humans, or you need something like Ataxian Probe, Kite Sail Freebooter, Discard, something that like lets you get a look at their hand.
Right, and Bauble does that in these Jeskai Delver decks. Meddling Mage is awkward because it's symmetrical, so if you name Luris, then you don't get one either. So there's a little push and pull to Meddling Mage, but I think it is a good card right now.
Yeah,
definitely a good one.
There's also a card that I have poo-pooed recently, the Dranith Magistrate. That can stop opponents from casting companions.
Doesn't Containment Priest also stop them? I believe it does. I'm pulling that card up also. Oh no, nope, it doesn't. I lied.
Yeah,
It's still cast. I thought it was cast from your hand, but nope. You're just casting the card from exile.
yeah. So
Yep.
like Draneth Magistrate in a world prior to companions is like absolute garbage, unplayable. But like seeing how incredibly the warping the companions are, it would not surprise me for that to see sideboard or even main deck play in some deck. I think
Yeah.
Luris probably had the best weekend debut of like any card in Legacy ever. I don't know
Yeah.
for sure, but
Yeah. It was definitely bonkers. Like Breach even took like a week or two to figure out. It took a long time for Oko to really get figured out. Uh, the fact that Luris just leapt into the leaderboard, the trophy race on day one is crazy.
and the scary thing is like we probably don't have anywhere close to optimized lists yet.
Yeah, almost certainly not.
So
The crazy thing to me also is just like the way the price of Luris. Like I tend to watch the bot prices to determine like meta share kind of. Is that Luris is 21 tickets right now on MTGO Traders, and it's a regular rare in the current draft set, and it comes pre-restricted. You don't need a playset of this. Lots of them are going to get opened. Just a rare. Well, everyone only needs one, and it's still 21 tickets. And I imagine that will correct over time. But like, what's even like what's like the second best rare in this set? I don't
Kudro's
know.
a mythic. Is the Fox a rare?
Yeah, Zerda. So Zerda, I looked earlier, is Zerda is 2.4 tickets, and that's one that you can play four of in a deck. So either the bots are just like really smartly holding their ground on like release weekend hype, and just I'm worried that this card will become you need to own this to be competitive, which is a tough spot to be, financially at least, because you could wait a month or whatever until the market forces itself into correction where there's just thousands of Lurises in circulation and everyone only needs one and only really legacy players need it. And so like eventually it'll drift down. But if the people setting the price know that people will pay $22 for it, then they're going to keep doing it. But yes, Zerda is 243. What's the demon drag or the dragon serpent? Yeah, Guy Ruda. This one's probably more. Okay, even Guy Ruda is $4.20, and Guy Ruda is breaking standard, pioneer, and it's playable in legacy. So like this is a multi-format Busto engine that you need four of for Guy Ruda decks, and it's 427. So I think there's a little bit of a artificial price manipulation happening here on Luris because everyone knows what they need. That everyone or the bots know that the people need them. So I think that's kind of a fake spike in price.
When these things were first live, they were like $5 or $6, and like so many people in Delver chat were frantically just like refreshing the page trying to get them from bots when they went live. And if you missed one, the price would go up like $2 before you would see another one.
Yeah, and that's how they do it. It's just like they get a pile of them, then they just put like two of them in the bot at a time, and based on how quickly they sell, they're like, all right, those are gone, $2 more next two. Then like, okay, until they stop selling, and they just haven't stopped selling.
All right. So Brian, do you have any other thoughts you want to share currently?
No, I mean, new legacy. It's a brave new world. If you're a Delver fan, it's a good time to be alive. If you're willing to shell out the $22 for your Luris, which I'll probably have to do tonight or tomorrow. You can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, and your record was very good with this deck prior to the format shifting, right?
Yeah, I held an 80% win rate over 3 or 4 weeks with the deck, and we just easily 2-3'd, not close. And one of our wins was an opponent who didn't show up. So, quick, very fast meta shift here.
One of the fastest I think I've ever seen. Like I've been playing a lot of Legacy for a long time, and this was one of the most abrupt changes over the course of release I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's. I don't know if anything has ever been printed like this mechanic in the sense of like how obviously it shifts the paradigm. It's like you could see like a card like True Name Nemesis when that was printed. It was like this is obviously going to be very good, but like it didn't shift paradigms. It just like went into decks that wanted it to attack with a creature like that, and it was very good. And it took people an embarrassingly long time to properly adjust to it. But these companions just like screamed like, "Hey, look at me! I'm busted, and I start in your hand every time." So it's kind of a handhold from design where like every set has like the border post uncommons for limited where it's like it's a cycle of 10, each is a color pair, and it tells you what that color wants to do in limited. And like this is like a constructed handhold where it's like, here, build your deck this way. This is the type of reward you'll get for doing it, and it'll be good. Go do it. So definitely very strong and very easy to figure out.
Yeah, it's like deck building instructions are on the card.
Yes, quite literally.
All right, Brian, if people want to see more of your content, where can they find you?
I have a YouTube channel. It's Bosch and Roll, youtube.com/the letter C/Bosch and Roll. That's BOSH, the letter NROLL. I'm also on Twitter at Bosch and Roll, and I have a Patreon. If you want, my videos are always free, but I do write articles. I've written for a number of websites, including Star City, over the years. So my articles have a reasonable quality, a sellable quality to them. Those are on my Patreon and sideboard guides. If I ever get to travel to an event again, I'll be posting like what I'm playing and here's my sideboard plan for any live event. So all of that kind of stuff will be there. My videos are free on YouTube all the time, though. I'm Bosch and Roll everywhere: Twitter, YouTube, and Patreon.
All right, and do you have any content planned for the short term that you want to do?
And I'm gonna play this Luris Delver deck, get some of that on the board. I'll probably try the Zerda Bomberman deck. Check out my YouTube channel in the coming weeks, and I'm sure it'll all be up there.
All right, I'll look forward to it. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. This was a lot of fun. Folks, I hope you enjoyed. If you do, please consider following, subscribing, or doing something else to support my content. And I'm going to go ahead and turn you all over to my friend Anurag, who is presumably playing with one companion or another. I saw he was messing around with Yorian Miracles before, so that might be that. Have a great rest of the night, folks.